So stretched. Why is my head so stretched? Oh, okay. Gotta adjust the window. My mouse got caught on it the other day and fucked it all up. Hello everyone. Hello. First order of business, Micro Missile was just here in the chat informing me that goddammit Malcolm was talking about me, and I was like, I was literally just at his stream. I think he has me hidden from his channel, or maybe his mods did it. Probably his mods. Because his mods think they're not the exact pathetic kind of people they're talking about right now that take internet moderation and Discord way too fucking seriously. So, somebody send that message retroactively to Malcolm. I did react to the Falgi stuff Wednesday, and I think your mods have me shadow banned because they're still, like, salty as fuck. Because I called them a mean girl sorority. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight, though. We're here to talk about Armored Skeptic, who is someone I am familiar with. I used to watch him back in the day. Back in the, like, the whole... He was part of the whole atheist skeptic debunking community, like, 15 fucking years ago. But, yeah, the Malmods do hate me. Like, I still don't know how someone so based has such cringe-ass fucking mods who take themselves way too seriously, but, again, not what we're here to talk about. Hey, Billy Donuts, thank you for the donuts. I just had a chocolate-covered marshmallow because there was still Easter candy on sale today, so I'm being a little bad. That may put me in a good mood. But the thing about Armored Skeptic is, and why I started watching him, is because he was just a knockoff of my GOAT, Logic. Logic is an atheist debunker. He may not be as well known these days, but, I've been watching him for, God, 10, 12 years. I've watched him since he started his channel with the Hello, I'm a Scientist stuff. And let's just click on one of his videos so you can see exactly what Armored Skeptic was ripping off.
Alright, we got a video here called
Water
Droplet Explosion Emoji.
Come back on screen, Logic. Anyway, so his whole bit is he dresses like this with the 3D specs and the hat and the thing over his face. I mean, it's not like he's against photos of himself being out there. His fucking wedding photos are out there, but this is his whole bit. He's been this character for like 10 fucking years, and it's great. And this is the guy I basically took my React style from, completely lifted 100%. Because what Logic does is he will argue with the video he's reacting to as if it's a conversation, and that always cracked me the fuck up, so that's what I do. So, between Deadwing Dork and this guy, this is basically what made my whole streaming style.
Process in Arabia.
So it doesn't really matter what he's saying. You can see how he does his shit. Now, Armored Skeptic never dressed up or anything, but he had a very similar character, as you can see. Now, this is one of his early-ass videos. He had a very similar character and delivery to Logic. He didn't even deny kind of being a Logic knockoff back in the day. But he used to not be camera-facing. He used to just do this. You know, so he got pretty popular pretty fast back in the day. I guess because, again, snappy delivery, fun character, haha, hoo-hee jokes and stuff. But, yeah, he, like, whereas Logic stayed on the straight and narrow and is still an atheist debunker, from what I've heard of Armored, he's gone a little cuckoo bananas, but, I don't know, I looked at, like, the transcripts and the summaries of his videos, and it seems like he's still debunking the stuff he's talking about. But you guys have all told me he's gone crazy, so I guess we'll see.
At Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. Been binging some scribble VOD / video lately tax.
Yay, I'm glad I'm bingeable. It's like when I first started and I kept privating all my weekly streams, thinking like it'd be like Twitch where they just go away after a while, and people were like, no, stop, leave them up, I want to re-listen to them, and I was like, really? Okay.
At Sadistic Nils sent a super chat. Used to watch Skeptic all the time years ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, from what I remember of, and yeah, he used to date Shoe on Head. They might have been married, I'm not sure. So this is what I remember. He popped up on the scene, aping Logic, got really popular really fast. Then him and Shoe on Head started dating, and they were doing this manosphere trad wife LARP for a while. Like, they both went, like, hard into that shit. Like, she was like, I'm so happy to bring my man a sandwich, and he was like, manosphere, male chauvinism. At some point, Shu realized how stupid and insufferable that is, and they broke up. And then I completely lost track of his ass until right now when people are telling me he's now a UFO nut. So, Quite a journey. Quite a journey. He used to also bitch about the Atheism Plus stuff back in the day, which, yeah, it was stupid. It was like what people do with the gay community now, where they try to put all far-left thought on one movement that isn't really necessarily about it, and fuck things up. But, like, the way he complained about it was in, like, a really chuddy kind of way. And, like, I remember his old stuff being funny, and maybe we'll watch one of his old videos for contrast, like we've done with this sort of stuff. What's his most popular video? 40 fucking minutes. Oh, yeah, he used to do spirit science as well, just like me. Actually, yeah, let's listen to a bit of his spirit science one, just to get a handle on what his content used to be like. I'm gonna turn off my... Yeah, see, people don't even fucking remember Atheism Plus now. It was a bunch of people saying atheism should also be about progressivism and feminism and Black Lives Matter, which didn't exist at the time, but you know what I mean? It's like what they do now with the gay community. Like, the gay community has to be about everything now for some fucking reason. You know? I wish people would just stop doing this. Like, you don't need one monolithic belief. You know, you can actually think for yourself on a case-by-case basis. That is a thing you can do. So let's listen to a little bit of his spirit science video here. I think this is about... You guys have wanted me to talk about this one, about the moon being fucking hollow or whatever. Oh, I remember The Amazing Atheist. I wish I didn't remember The Amazing Atheist. I never actually watched him, because he was always kind of a douchebag. This is his old stuff for contrast. Yeah.
One more, and done. I'm proud of
Oh, I forgot he also did this Channel Awesome skit type shit, yeah.
myself. Are you proud of yourself? Oh, hell yeah, I'm proud of myself. We finished the entire 2016 lineup. It's all ready to go. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah, this is pure 2016 YouTube. Holy shit.
smart, informative, enlightening, hilarious, witty. Oh yeah, 2016 is coming up. Armored Media. The trick is to get the boss to follow along with the criteria that we got set up here.
Okay, I don't care about your skits, my dude. Oh, it's gonna be through the whole video, is it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, thank God. Let's just get to him talking about Jordan. Is this a crossover episode?
Way to start the video.
Would you say the moon is masculine or feminine?
What?
Spiritually speaking, I've most often heard that it embodies female energy.
It's a rock.
We have Mother Nature full of life and creation. Wouldn't the moon be the father?
Yeah, you might think so. However, our celestial father is most definitely the sun.
Oh, right, I forgot.
It's because of our father above and our mother below.
I mean, he's not really, he's just kind of snarking the video without... I think that's what mostly... Like, Logic will actually give explanations. I think Armored would just mostly snark. He'd just mostly snark. Yeah, I mean, it was funny, but... I don't think he really gave much substantial insight. But I think we're gonna find his old stuff is better than his new stuff. I don't know.
That allows all of this life to exist.
So the sun shoots its life-giving rays at the earth, and the earth gives birth to life. That makes sense to me.
The moon is actually neither, which makes me
do a
think
lot
it
more
must be
animation,
like a
too.
cousin.
Wait, so does that mean during solar eclipses... Oh my god. You fucking block!
But perhaps what's more
Yeah,
curious
this is
about
so
old Lady Luna
2016.
is that her existence has actually never been explained by modern science.
I didn't know that.
Who needs science to explain?
Yeah, see, again, he isn't really debunking, he's mostly snarking. But, I mean, also, what else the fuck do you do with a Jordan video?
Right. I mean, I know you don't.
I guess that was just the intro. God, man, like 2.5 minutes into the video and you haven't really gotten to, like, the main crux of the argument. So 2016.
But isn't it interesting that using science we can build nuclear weapons, but cannot even explain
audio
this
bouncing
most
was
ancient
shit back then,
entity
though, bro.
that floats at our doorstep?
It's not really fair. I mean, they're completely different studies of science, but I get what you're saying.
What's stranger? The moon is actually far too big to be a natural satellite of the Earth. And the current leading theory in science is that something like a Mars-sized planet-like rock came out of nowhere and hit the Earth, and then it became the moon.
I'm just gonna get this out of the way right now. We
that-
can explain the moon. It is a mystery, correct, because it isn't part of the Earth. It came from...
Yeah, well, maybe we should actually do that Jordan video next Spirit
At
Science.
Minebot45 sent a super chat. When we get to his modern stuff, I give him 3 videos before he lets slip that he also believes in some kooky shit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's debunking them, but does he secretly believe it? I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. But that's an example of his old stuff. Maybe we'll watch a little bit more of this. But no, I gotta finish the spirit science conspiracy theory videos before we go on to his fucking Hollow Moon
but
shit.
that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fantastic story. It was probably just another part of our solar
The 2016 I can't talk too loud or my parents will be woken up voice.
system that crashed into us.
And when those physics didn't work out, they came up with a new theory that said that the same planet-like rock-like thing hits the planet, bounces around, and then hits it again, and then becomes the moon. Needless to say.
Citation, Jordan! No, God damn it! Now I'm debunking the video.
It still didn't work.
Well, we don't have the details, but that's what would have happened.
Well,
Okay, this is getting boring now. Let's excuse me. What else is popular of his? One that's maybe 8 years ago. Oh, did he do the Human History movie as well? Where's a short one? Oh, this is the guy that Logic calls Fred Durst. Is that Wendigoon? Who is that? Let's see. Does anything else look interesting? We can get a handle on this guy.
A talking movie Bubbles B6 sent a super chat. Going to take a tour to the Jim Henson Creature Shop.
Ooh.
It's a 4-hour drive from where I live. It's where the Dark Crystal and Labyrinth puppets came from.
I would definitely go on a 4-hour drive for that. I was just saying how, like, they're gonna like, put the final episode of Digital Circus in theaters early in June, and the closest theater to me that's doing it is, like, an hour and a half away, and I'm like, I am not that big of a fan. Oh, this guy was crazy. I remember this one.
Alright, boss, it's
How many times did you have these skits? I completely blocked these fucking skits out of my goddamn memory. Anyway, I don't think he has music, so I'm gonna turn my music back on.
It's a closed system.
The overall entropy of the universe is increasing, but that doesn't mean that the energy that exists in the universe can't fucking transfer into other things in the process of becoming more entropic. Oh my god, seriously, life has been proven.
One thing I'll say is he did put effort into these older videos, like a lot of effort. But okay, this bit seems to be going on too long. This guy was just like schizophrenically ranting while he filmed his screen. I remember this guy.
Go ahead and give Evolution a free pass on that one as well, for the purpose of this.
Yay, they're so kind.
It is true that evolution also violates biogenesis, which states, of course, that life only comes from other life.
What?
Evolutionist Sir Fred Hoyle stated, and I quote, that believing that the first cell arrived by chance and accident is like believing that a tornado could sweep through a junkyard and create a Boeing 747. It's not just species that we don't see becoming, but on the cellular level, we've never seen a cell come from anything other than another cell.
Yeah, let me field this one. That's because the building blocks of life, proteins and carbon and all that kind of stuff, those are the things that cells eat. If life were ever to try...
Okay, I think this gives us an idea of what his content used to be like. We don't need to watch through all of these.
Direwolf181 sent a super chat. You've never heard of Wendigoon?
No, of course I have. I just thought that guy kind of looked like him. Anyway, oh, he did do a crossover with Logic or something. It looks like a while back. So let's get a look at his modern content. And it seems to me whenever somebody isn't camera facing and then becomes camera facing, it always goes terribly wrong. It usually is a sign of some mental shift. If I ever become camera facing, it's like over for me, guys. I'm always gonna ping tuber for life. All right, I don't want to have to dress up for you people or be presentable or have good camera presence. Anyway, I'm gonna listen to the trumpets and the. Oh god, it's a half fucking hour long. This is what Fridays are, though. I mostly just listen to and react to things. So let's hear what he has to say about trumpets in the sky, because that's a pretty out there one. Does he have something on reptilians though? I always say reptilians are my favorite conspiracy theory. Oh, he does talk about Sitchin. Maybe we'll watch that one. Alright, so I'll probably put him on fast speed at least. Let's see, let's click on the trumpets in the sky. He still uses his little armor character guy, but he doesn't, like, do the ping tuber anymore.
Hey, buddy. Sometime between the late 2000s and the early 2010s, people started uploading videos to the internet of strange noises resonating in the sky. Sometimes these noises sounded like metal screeching, sometimes they sounded like deep rumbling, and sometimes they just straight up sounded like a trumpet or a wind instrument of some sort blaring in the sky.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Latex. Who this man?
He used to be an atheist debunker like 11 years ago, and now he does like UFO conspiracies and stuff, and people think he might actually believe them. I don't know. And he also dated Shoe on Head for a bit, and they were doing some manosphere trad wife LARP until she realized how stupid that is. And then they broke up. Wow, machinery. The thing about videos like this is like, oh, strange sounds were heard in the sky. Like, you could so fucking easily fake this. Temu Voltaire looking ass. Yeah, kinda. What are we gonna say about these weird noises there, Army? I mean, as an eerie phenomenon, it's a cool idea. But it's not true. I mean, oh, it's on a cell phone video. It must be real. But they could add that sound in before they fucking upload it, you know? Like, you gotta have a higher standard of evidence than that.
I remember this trend pretty well because this all started around the same time that people started talking about the Mayan calendar. You remember when people were worried that the world was...
Yeah, this is gonna be less does he suck now and more is he as crazy as people are telling me now? Because I'm still... doubting it, but we'll see.
Going to end in 2012. Some people believed that these noises were actually the trumpets of Revelation and that they were signaling the beginning of the apocalypse.
They sure did. Lots of people will think anything is the rapture or the apocalypse, though.
Even the UFO community was sharing these videos because they believed that these could be motherships hovering above various cities.
Well, yeah, the UFO community thinks everything is an extraterrestrial spaceship, even though UFO doesn't necessarily mean extraterrestrial.
Waiting to unleash something onto the Earth. Lots of people speculated about what these noises could be and what they could mean. There have been a lot of theories, but nobody has been able to definitively determine exactly what is causing these noises and where they're coming from. Even now, we still don't know for sure exactly what these noises really are. Since the beginning of this trend, dozens more videos just like this have been shared across the internet depicting strange noises echoing across the sky in all sorts of different locations.
Damn, he's really padding this. He's, like, you've just repeated the same point, like, 3 fucking times, my guy. Like, this didn't have to be half an hour long.
A Talking Movie Bubbles B6 sent a super chat. Also, Star Giant now goes by Ryan and goes by he/him pronouns.
I think I heard that. I still am never gonna give a shit about Star Giant. I know people want me to cover it, but I just don't cover things I'm not interested in, guys. It won't be fun for me and it won't be fun for you.
And we know for a fact that at least some of these videos are real, because in multiple instances, 911 would get flooded with tons of calls from people complaining about these noises, and even various news networks have done segments about these noises, talking about the hundreds or even thousands of people that were affected by this.
Neighbors in this Forest Grove neighborhood have no idea what this mystery sound is, but they agree.
Wow, one local news report. It must be true. Like, dude, where's your citation for, like, 911 calls being increased at the time these were recorded? You would think a guy called Armored Skeptic would have all the information that would possibly disprove this before saying there's evidence for it. Like, you can't just say, oh, there were 911 calls totally made every time this happened and not show a lick of proof. Except, oh, but a local news station talked about it. Oh my god. You have become the thing you have sworn to destroy, Armored Skeptic. Very, very disappointing.
Agree on 3 things. It's loud, obnoxious, and they want it to stop.
The tone is very high.
Well, that's not the same noise at all. That's very high-pitched. That could be from machinery. That could be from, like, I don't know, something blowing through the trees at the right angle. Let's slow down the video just so I can hear what this noise actually sounds like.
Obnoxious, and they want it to stop.
The tone is very high, so it gets to a point where...
Yeah, that's like a high-pitched whistle, so that's not the same as the big bwomps in the sky, for one thing. And it didn't sound like it was coming from the sky, it sounded like it was coming from the woods. So, like, it could be the wind whistling through a hollow in a tree the right way, like, you know? You can't just assume what a noise is. The funniest story is the night I found out that foxes make noise. I had no idea that foxes make noise, but I heard something absolutely screaming bloody fucking murder out behind my yard one night, and I thought my cat had gotten into a fight with something, so I ran out there to try to figure out what it was. And I never found it, and I assumed it was a Fisher cat or something, because it was just like this bellow, this high-pitched shriek. Later on, I found out red foxes just do that. They just go, "Bwah!" Scared the absolute fuck out of me. Anyone else might have thought it was a fucking demon. You said it could be a moose? Do moose sound like that? I mean, we hear coyotes all the time around here, too. It's this awful, terrible cackling noise you hear echoing from miles away, and it can sound really spooky, but I know it's coyotes, you know?
It really affects your hearing.
Yeah, the fox apparently goes, "Ah!" is what foxes do. I had no idea what I was hearing, as I had never heard a fox make noise before.
At Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. Are those trumpets played by Chuck Mangione?
Maybe. It's up in the sky.
Paula Lynch can't figure out what this sound is.
It's hard to identify what angle it's coming from because it just kind of encompasses the area.
It's not coming from the sky, though. I can already tell from that video. It's like, so this isn't even any of the videos you just showed. It's not the same sound. Yeah, we have coyotes in Rhode Island. They weren't always here. They kind of moved back in a few decades ago. So we didn't always have them. It's like how people have sworn they're starting to see mountain lions around here too, which to me makes sense, because if they're getting pushed out of their habitats in Florida and they're getting pushed out of their habitats up in like Maine and shit, where are they gonna end up? In the middle of the coast where we are. So I believe there's been the occasional mountain lion. We have bears, too, actually. I've never actually seen one, but we have bears.
So, what's going on here? Are these videos fake? Is there something somewhere in our atmosphere that's causing these noises?
Fake.
Are these UFOs or the trumpets of Revelation ushering in the end times? Could these sounds be coming from something natural?
Yes.
Or are they coming from something that we've never considered before?
Or that, yeah. I mean, again, Occam's razor, you shouldn't leap to supernatural immediately. He's got a new... Okay, I guess he is all about the spoopy stuff now. And again, talking about ghosts and UFOs and aliens and conspiracy theories, I like talking about that stuff too. I don't believe a single goddamn one of them, but they're fun to talk about. They make fun fictional ideas, but I am personally a very hardcore skeptic and a hardline atheist. I've mentioned this before, but I am. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in extraterrestrials that can reach our planet. I don't believe in a lot of supernatural phenomenon. You know, it takes a lot to convince me.
At the Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Oh god, I used to follow a slew of these people that evolved from Gamergate. I finally stopped watching when they all got way too political.
That's right, he was involved in Goobergate, wasn't he? Because like I said before, he had a big grudge against Atheism Plus, even though that shit never went anywhere. And it's like, yeah... He was part of Goobergate, I think.
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. I wouldn't be surprised if folks didn't know Red Deer stags roar. I never heard them until I moved house, and now every rut I hear stags roaring.
Yeah, because if it's an unfamiliar animal to you, you might not know what you're hearing, you know?
At Talking Movie Bubbles B6 sent a super chat. Star Giants take are also dog shit.
Does Star Giant do conspiracy stuff? Because, I mean, maybe I'd be interested in that, but obviously I don't care about Star Giant's trauma. I mean, he does have music.
These trumpet sounds are really interesting. With so many instances reported and so many people claiming that they've witnessed them themselves, I believe that this is probably a real phenomenon. But it's hard to believe that all of these noises in the sky are all related to each other. They're probably not all coming from the same source. Some of these noises could be coming from completely different sources. I mean, maybe some of them are related to each other, but I also think that it's possible.
Or they're fake, or people just put the sound in after recording a video with their phone. That is so easy to do.
That each individual noise could have been coming from a completely different source. Some of these sounds are just a simple deep rumble, but other sounds are more complex, like metal screeching or bending with a lot of variation to them.
They come from everywhere.
Even hearing. Like, that just sounds like industrial shit. Like, when people are, like, using big machinery and, like, when there's, like, tree work going on, like, you can hear it over a distance. It was just, like, a big oil truck in my neighborhood today. Like, the sound was penetrating throughout the entire fucking house just because the big truck was out there running, you know? just sounds like somebody's fucking generator. I mean, come on now. That also sounds like lawn equipment. I mean, just because you can't identify the noise doesn't mean it's aliens. Dude, you used to argue against the God of the Gaps argument where, well, if you can't explain it, then it must be God. You're doing the same thing, but with, like, aliens right now, you know?
At Replica_Rabbit send a super chat. You don't believe in chickens.
Of course not. Chickens aren't real. You guys convinced me through logic that chickens aren't real.
A Talking Movie Bubbles B6 sent a super chat.
Oh.
I mean, these cartoon takes are worse than Lily's.
Maybe. It'd have to be a cartoon I know a lot about. You seem very invested in me covering Star Giant Talking Movie Bubbles, but I don't know if it's ever gonna happen.
And a handful of these noises sound like...
Yeah, Silent Hill ambience, that's just fucking New England.
Just coming from some sort of a horn.
You know, we used to have this old fire horn in my town. Well, I live in the town now, but I didn't live here all the time. And my grandma used to live here, so I'd hear it all the time. It was this 100-year-old fire horn, so whenever they needed to tell the volunteer firefighters that there was a fire they needed to get to, you just hear this eerie whomp, whomp, whomp through the neighborhood and through, like, the whole town. You could hear it for miles. Loved that sound. Bunch of fuckers from Connecticut and New York started moving in and made them get rid of it. It was such an eerie, kind of haunting sound, but it was also kind of comforting. I don't know. But it could be something like that. A lot of these places look like they're very industrial. So it could just be coming from an industrial plant or something, you know?
I mean, I guess some of these noises sound like they could be coming from...
Yeah, echoing off of hills, too, Space Frog. People really underestimate how much sound can carry and bounce off hills and mountains and things. Especially in winter, too. The winter air is so still and so cold that sound carries further. You know?
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Some of these could be machines in quarries. Echoes and stuff.
I mean, that's what most of them sound like to me. They don't even sound like fucking trumpets, you know?
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. People really spooked by machine sounds? Are we back in the Industrial Revolution era?
I mean, it sounds eerie, sure, but they have plenty of natural, normal explanations before you jump to, like, aliens or the rapture.
I mean, I guess some of these noises sound like they could be coming from some sort of a trumpet or a wind instrument, but a lot of these noises sound more industrial. Now, obviously, some of these videos are fake. Whenever there's a trend like this online, you almost always get a big wave of hoaxers.
Maybe he's not crazy, guys. This whole stream's gonna be like, is he crazy? How much of this does he actually believe?
It's way too easy for somebody to just film themselves watching the sky going, oh, wow, what's that noise? I don't know where it's coming from. And then they just...
Yeah, that's what I said like 2 minutes ago. Like, again, he's really padding this.
Add the noise in post while they're editing it. In fact, somebody actually intentionally made a fake video like this just to prove this point years ago, recording his surrounding neighborhood while playing a deep screeching sound on his laptop in the background. There's no way of knowing for sure if most of these videos are hoaxes or not, especially the videos of people just alone in the woods with their friends. Like, no other witnesses, it's kind of convenient.
At Minebot45 sent a super chat. This reminds me of how here in Chicago, we test the tornado sirens on the first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, the fire siren was a lot like a tornado siren, only probably not as loud. Oh my god, you're hearing like a high-pitched buzz standing in the middle of the woods in the winter under an electrical line. Imagine!
A proper noise analysis could probably weed out a few hoaxers, but it wouldn't be able to tell for sure if every single one is a hoax. I'm sure you would not be able to detect editing on every single video. However, there are several instances where these noises were witnessed by multiple people. Sometimes hundreds or thousands of people from a town or a neighborhood would call into the police complaining about these noises, hoping that they could do something about them.
And you have proof, right?
Bizarre sounds are being heard all over.
They have no idea where it's coming from. At first they thought maybe it was like metal screeching on a train track, but there are no...
Okay, well, you're not giving any context. You're just blasting these at us saying, see, there's been news stories. See, people totally called the police. But you don't really have any proof.
Train tracks nearby.
Well, for the first time, we're getting to hear the 911 calls that have been coming into the local dispatch center.
We can't even hear each other in the backyard. It's like no one else can figure out what's happening.
The website strangesounds.org has collected over one...
Okay, yeah, but, okay, are are you just trusting that these guys have done their research and have vetted all of these news stories and that they're all related to these sounds and not something else? Because they could just clip chimp a bunch of news stories and say it was totally about this. You know?
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. Can confirm sound travels very well. I have a lock outside my house where I can hear distant traffic in the right conditions. Physics is fun.
Oh yeah. It's like I could, at my old place, I could hear the fucking train station miles and miles away, you know?
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. Sometimes these noises are birds. At least in Australia. The lyrebird is especially good at pulling off sounds like this.
True, birds can make some pretty fucked up noises.
150 videos of these trumpets in the sky, dating as far back as 2008. But even if you can determine that some of these videos are fake, this phenomenon is real. It is really happening. Or at least it was.
Well, yeah, like I just said in Voicing Emu, I could hear the trains going by under certain conditions at my old place, and the train station and the tracks were nowhere near me.
911 calls have been made multiple times about this phenomenon, so I'm sure some of these videos are real. So what exactly are we dealing with here? The first thing that I want to talk about here is the phenomenon of low vibrational frequencies. This might be a completely different phenomenon from the trumpets in the sky, but it could be related. This is a strange phenomenon that popped up for the first time.
Especially when people are standing under power lines in the winter, yeah.
Around the 1960s or 1970s, where a persistent low-frequency hum could be heard by about 2% of the population of certain towns around the world. And sometimes this low-frequency hum would last hours, days, or even weeks at a time. And even more than 2% of the population was actually able to feel the vibration in their chest or somewhere in their body.
Well, it's like how people speculate what happened with the Duklov Pass thing, where a bunch of people were exploring this pass in the mountains, and they all went crazy and stripped their clothes off and went running into the woods. People think that there was just the right conditions in the valley they were in to make like a really low frequency sound that they couldn't hear, but was basically driving them insane and making them blindly panic.
At Friendler Russet sent a super chat. This is the alarm you hear when you accidentally punch a chicken and the entire town is ready to fight you.
Are you talking about Skyrim or Zelda?
It's been reported that this low-frequency hum can drive residents to near insanity, and it can cause insomnia, nausea, headaches, and even anxiety. In some cases, this low-frequency hum was so persistent and annoying that people completely abandoned their homes and left town, and in other cases, unfortunately, people fell into despair and ended up ending their lives. It's hard to know exactly when this began, because there are references to this phenomenon dating as
Anthony Gramulia-ass video where you're going on like 3 different topics.
as far back as the 1800s. But the first credible reference to this phenomenon comes from the 1970s, when about 2% of the population of Bristol, England complained that they could either hear this low vibrational hum or they could feel it in their chest. They ended up calling this the Bristol hum, and newspaper articles from that time actually warned the people of Bristol that even noises that you can't hear can still cause harm to the human body.
And that could just be like the earth moving underground. That could be like plate tectonics that make those low frequency noises that we can't even hear but do like impact us.
And since then, millions of people in various towns and cities around the world have complained about being able to hear or feel this persistent low frequency hum, and it's making them either feel sick or making it impossible for them to sleep. Quite a few researchers have investigated these claims over the years, and they've actually managed to put together a map to demonstrate the scope of this issue. There are over 20,000
Wow, look, and it's all near places that would be shifting. It's all near places where the plates of the earth would be shifting. Wow. Imagine that.
Locations now around the world where this hum has been reported. It's the same symptoms everywhere. Headaches, nausea, insomnia, and anxiety. Taos New
And you're just showing us a map. You're not showing us any studies. You're not showing us any statistics or any real evidence or information that would prove this. Again, you've become what you set out to destroy. You're as bad as the people you used to cover. And I'm not even saying he believes this or is crazy right now, but his standard of evidence is terrible. It's just like the people he used to laugh at.
New Mexico is probably the most famous location for this mystery hum, where somewhere around 11% of the residents...
In Mexico, where they have a fuck ton of earthquakes, yeah!
Residents complained that they could hear or feel this hum in the early 1990s, and several residents just straight up abandoned their homes and left town because of it. This was even referenced in X-Files, it was so famous. Mulder called it the Taos hum.
Showing new X-Files. Big L right there. But also, like, okay, so you're citing unsolved mysteries and, oh, they talked about it on the X-Files, but you haven't shown me any evidence of this happening.
Been referenced in X-Files, it was so famous.
Oh, see, okay, we're dipping our toes in Mad Lad. If you have a video where you think he's completely insane, definitely like shout it out in the chat, and maybe we'll look at that one next. I'm just trying to get like a median here. I'm trying to get like a gauge of where he's at, and also yeah, showing new X-Files instead of old X-Files. Fuck off. Why the fuck is the cigarette man still alive if this is new too? Because Gillian Anderson's blonde. I know this is the new one. Fucking, why is Cancer Man still alive? They killed this motherfucker like 5 goddamn times.
Older called it the Taos hum.
If Krychek doesn't come back, Cancer Man doesn't get to come back.
Imagine being plagued by this sound. A loud, annoying hum that grinds away incessantly, day after day, night after night.
Electrical nerve gas, or maybe behind the so-called Taos hum.
YouTuber.
Hey yo! I gotta talk about what he just showed on screen.
Day after day, night after night.
Electrical nerve gas, or maybe behind.
Okay, guess what? That's Bryan Cranston right there. He's playing a guy whose head is gonna explode if he doesn't keep driving west. That episode has lived rent-free in my head ever since I saw it. Because they started it out with like a high-speed police chase. It looked like it was just the news and not the show. It was really meta. And this is the episode that made Vince Gilligan want to put Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad. Fun fact right there. I just had to spurg a little bit because this video is boring. But yeah, like this episode lived rent-free in my head, like since I was a fucking teenager, or maybe even younger, and I never knew that was Bryan Cranston until very recently, so I just have to spurg about it.
YouTuber Ben Jordan has actually made several videos about this hum phenomenon that I definitely recommend you watch.
We both recorded it and we both felt it louder than we heard it, if that makes any sense. It's as if the sound was a higher harmonic of what was vibrating our chests.
There are a few different possibilities.
Just show some fucking ghost hunters, like he's all over the place with this video. I almost want to skip ahead.
About how this could be happening. With wind traveling through different landscapes, going through valleys or tunnels
exactly
or gorges,
what I said earlier,
wind passing through different bridges or infrastructure, or even wind passing through skyscrapers. It's possible that the wind is causing these structures to vibrate and create different noises, and the shape of the landscape possibly could be amplifying this sound. Other factors like mineral or metal-rich rocks could also be amplifying this sound by also vibrating. There might be a lot of different factors, but essentially what's happening is that it's creating a specific resonance frequency. Also,
this is what I'm concerned about though, guys, because he's debunking it. He is debunking it. But if we can find him, history is a lie about Tesla and electricity. Okay, we'll watch that one next, Bad Lad, because that's your suggestion for Crazy Pants time.
Also, underground pipes could be causing this. Either
Garbo, you should watch old X-Files, except the last 2 seasons. Dude, don't do that to yourself. It took me so long to watch the last season of old X-Files. It took me years to actually finally watch it, and it's so bad.
Sewage pipes or even natural gas pipes. Ben Jordan demonstrates.
Once they bring in the T-1000 and replace Mulder with him, it's over. Don't watch anymore.
That if a pipe is hot enough on one end and cold on the other, it can cause air to rush through the pipe so quickly that it vibrates and hums.
Now let's create that pressure differential by turning it right side up.
If it really is underground pipes causing this low-frequency hum, then it would be pretty difficult for individual observers to be able to pinpoint exactly where the sound is coming from.
Well, no
it would kind of just sound like the hum is coming from
hard to
everywhere
pinpoint
around
where
them.
sounds
These
are coming
noises
from
could
in
also be coming
general.
from something industrial, or maybe even something that's secretly happening underground, like building tunnels or something. And then maybe the...
Oh, you know, I think I watched a little bit of Fringe. I don't know why I fell off of it, but I watched a little bit of it.
Noise is bouncing off of the clouds or the atmosphere and getting reflected back down to the earth. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but earlier today I just remembered that there was another phenomenon in the sea that they call the bloop. The bloop.
Okay, now you're talking about the bloop now. What does this have to do with trumpets in the sky? This is so padded out. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead. This is so padded. I just want to find out what your final fucking conclusion is before we move on to your crazier shit. Well, see, David Duchovny got a big head and thought he could go off and be a movie star. So he quit the show, and they replaced him with the T-1000, that actor. He's not a bad actor. He's not bad. And they kind of gave Skinner more of a role in the show, which was kind of good. But yeah, that's really where the show just... It's after the first movie, the show just went downhill. Unfortunately. I'm so scared about The Boys going downhill. I am going to be doing The Boys episode reactions. I forgot about the premiere, but the next episode isn't till the 15th, so we have time. I'll probably do that Monday. Yeah, me too, Space Frog. I like when Skinner started becoming more of a main character in the X-Files. That was like, he always had a really fun dynamic with Mulder and Scully. know why we're back to the videos
At
like this.
ActionFan19 sent a super chat. Do some better sourcing, boo.
Yeah, again, he's acting exactly like the people he used to make fun of. It's crazy.
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. You need to watch his video about the Green Man or Planet X. That's where I remember I stopped watching him because it sounded like conspiracy theory crap.
Okay.
At Sofagrams4 you send a super chat. If Armored is boring and you want frustrating crazy man, watch the Y-Files. Unlike Spirit Science, he's trying to be scientific, but he's very dumb.
Well, that might be one to throw on the Barbie for Friday streams. I am gonna do, next Friday I think I'm gonna do more of the Spirit Science conspiracy theory videos. I know the first ones were kind of boring, but I want to complete it. I'm being completionist right now. I'm gonna see what his ultimate conclusion is at the end of this video, and we'll go on to the ones you guys say are crazier. Because he's just like, he's going way off topic. Like, this could have been a 15-minute video, my dude.
Vital waves for witnesses to report hearing and feeling rumbling sounds. And it's also possible that these trumpet sounds are caused by large ships rubbing up against each other in the port, or maybe rubbing up against the edges of a dock or a pier. And again, the same thing, these sounds are somehow becoming amplified and distorted as they're traveling long distances, so people are just hearing grumbling and groaning noises.
Yeah.
These sounds could also be coming from secret underground construction, like secret underground tunnels being bored out, or
It wouldn't even have to be secret. I mean, yeah, you could hear a boring machine and not know what it is, but it doesn't mean them boring into the earth is secret. You know, people are just dumb sometimes.
Ground bases being built, and the noise is getting focused through these entrances in the ground, or through air holes or something, which could be causing almost like a trumpeting effect, blasting the sound out into the air. And maybe that's why nobody ever claims responsibility for these noises, because they might be associated with something that's top secret. Maybe they're coming from some sort of a...
Or they don't know what's happening either. Like, if a bunch of workers are underground with a boring machine, they might be unaware that it could be heard on the surface. So the people hearing something on the surface are reporting it to the news and the police. They don't put it together either. Meanwhile, the people working on, like, a tunnel underground don't even know what the fuck is going on up there, you know? Maybe didn't catch the news that night and go, oh, hey, that was probably us. It's not like they're keeping it secret on purpose, you know? Like, there are so many more rational explanations before you go, like, secret government operations. Okay, I'm starting to see what you guys are saying now.
A secret project that's not supposed to be disclosed to the public. But maybe the most widely accepted theory for these trumpet sounds...
Hazel T. Witch, I'll give you some advice. One of my art teachers basically forced us to, like, just fill pages full of nothing but drawings of hands, even using our own hands as reference. Just draw nothing but entire pages of hands, and my god, you will eventually get good at it.
is that they're being caused by earthquakes or some sort of earth movement. It's the sound of...
Just look up as many hand models as you can, too. I always recommend going to stock photo websites like Shutterstock and Getty Images, because you can find very highly specific pictures of things through searches there, and that always makes for great drawing reference. So let's go look up a bunch of hands and just draw them. Just keep drawing them until you're good at it.
Tectonic plates rubbing up against each other. And I think that this is the theory that makes the most sense, at least for most of them. Rock and ore rubbing up against itself over a multiple mile long crack in the earth is absolutely going to create a lot of noise. If the earthquake isn't severe enough, or if you're far enough away from the epicenter of the earthquake, you might not be able to connect the dots between that earth movement and the noise
just
that
tell
you're
me
hearing.
if you believe this or not.
It's probably not very likely that this is actually the cause of all of the noises. Who knows? Maybe it really was humans doing this all along. But tell me what you think. Do you believe that these trumpets in the sky are even a real phenomenon in the first place? Is this being caused by a natural process? Is this being caused by human activity or even machinery? Or do you believe that these sounds are all completely unrelated and they're being caused by a bunch of different things? Or do you believe that these are actually the trumpets of revelation? Let me know in the comments below. And I just want...
So basically, he just babbled for like half an hour, then said, "Who knows? Comment down below." Well, that was pretty shit. It wasn't crazy, but it was a shit video. All right. So I might put my music thing up if I'm not gonna play my music, so I don't confuse you guys. All right, let's look up some of the ones people said are crazier.
ActionFan19 sent a super chat. The actual unbelievable story of sound anomalies was an episode of Chicago Med that had a combat vet who could hear his own heartbeat in his skull. At MassoMouse1556 sent a super chat. I think his sudden divergence of subject matter happened with his engagement to show dissolving just before the OG lockdowns.
Maybe. But yeah, it really seems like it's just padding and trying to string people along for a half-hour fucking video. Like, your videos don't even need to be this long, man. Your videos don't even need to be this long. So history is a lie, Tesla. You're saying, is this 2 or 3? Hang on, let me just, history is a lie. Let's just do that. Oh, he's got a whole playlist. 53 fucking videos! Oh my god, what are you guys doing to me? So he doesn't number them. That's good. I at least number my series. Okay, so we'll do the, is free energy real? The answer is no. Oh, it's him. He looks like Wendigoon before his hair grew out. Okay. It was him in the thumbnail. Wow! Wait, you're not supposed to hear your own heartbeat in your head? Well, you're not hearing your heartbeat, Frog. You're hearing your blood, which is being beat by your heart, yes, but you're not hearing your heart, you're hearing your blood if it's in your head.
At the Master Clockwork sent a super chat. The answer is never something supernatural.
Exactly. I do not believe in the supernatural. I know, it's funny, because, you know, I'm a person who's really into fantasy and whimsy and weird ideas and Jungian shit, but I don't believe in anything supernatural. I really don't. You know, it's so strange. But yeah, blood makes noise. It's a ringing in my ear, blood makes noise. I was introducing somebody to Suzanne Vega earlier because I said they really like 80s and 90s music. Anyway,
hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Armored Conspiracy Files.
I still have you...
Still sitting on that name. This series is very different from anything I've ever done before. I get a little bit more close up and personal.
Yeah, no shit, because you used to be a skeptic, and a skeptic is still in your name, and now it seems like you might be crazy.
Describe some of the more obscure conspiracy theories that I've researched over the years. It's just some harmless speculation. Last time I gave you an introduction into...
Just some harmless speculation. Now, again, I am a hardline atheist. I am a very hard skeptic. I don't believe in anything supernatural. I also love hearing about and talking about conspiracy theories because I think they're funny. You know? So, it seems like he's trying to pretend he's approaching it in that way. I guess we'll see.
To my grand unified theory postulating that all of written history is fabricated and that humanity actually progressed completely differently than we were taught in school and our civilization...
Whoa, okay, he just hit me with that all of a sudden. Alright, I might now see what you guys are talking about.
Grand unified theory postulating that all of written history I've researched over the years. It's just some harmless speculation. Last time I gave you an introduction into my grand unified theory postulating that all of written history is fabricated and that humanity actually progressed completely differently than we were taught in school and our civilization went through a major reset as recently as the Victorian era. If you...
Okay, I see what you guys are saying now. I definitely see what you guys are saying now. Yeah, this guy's nuts. We might want to do the first one first, because I want to know how he justifies that. And hey, there is no limit on length for Friday streams. I'm gonna say that right now. So I'm gonna put it at 1.5. But that's just a theory, a batshit insane theory. I'm Armored Skeptic. Hello, Internet. Anyway, so he's gonna tell us history is fake. We might not watch the whole thing. We might skip around because this is really long and he repeats himself so many fucking times. But I love how I don't know, guys. He seems to be debunking stuff. I don't know. He's saying this isn't true. And then he's like, by the way, all of history is fake. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, listen, you can make the argument that we can't know 100% sure a lot of things that happened in history because a lot of things are lost to time. A lot of people are going to, of course, give a biased account that makes their country or their group or their religion or their whatever look good, you know? Yes, it is possible that many things didn't happen the way we think they did or imagine they did. And even like in our schooling system, they really flatten history and flatten these historical figures into almost cartoon characters when they're teaching it to like elementary school kids. So yeah, you could argue that. I don't think that's what he's going to argue, but I'm saying there is room to say, yeah, a lot of history might be bullshit. A lot of history might not have happened exactly like we think it did. But again, let's still see where he's going with this.
Okay, come on, Greg. You can do this. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here.
This is not charming. This is making me think you're trying too hard to convince us you're not crazy. Oh, is he one of those white guys obsessed with Rome? Oh god, oh no.
This is going to be very different from anything I've ever made. Quick, somebody talk me out of this! Now I know that I promised I was going to make my own conspiracy theory video, but this really got out of hand on me. I started off with just writing a script for a single video, laying out my new favorite conspiracy theory. Before I knew it, I'd gone full Charlie, laying out my own personal grand unified theory for all conspiracy theories that
So he went from Temu Wendigoon to Temu Voltaire. That's interesting.
ever existed. Oh my god. Welcome to the Armored Conspiracy Files.
Yeah, Miss Jasmine, exactly like the way they teach kids about Christopher Columbus. They really leave out a lot.
If I'm done, I'm keeping it. Please debate with each other in the comments section. I'm just trying to have some fun. I thought you guys would have some fun too.
I mean, is he comment farming or is he actually nuts?
Conspiracy theory that sort of got me started into the whole genre way back in the day was the Giza Plateau. The Great Pyramid, the Red Pyramid, the Sphinx, and of course dozens of other structures, tunnels, and sites. Based on everything that we know on the historical progression of mankind, there's no way the dynastic Egyptians could have built the Great Pyramid in the time.
Ah, yes, of course, the brown people couldn't have made these miraculous structures, but we never questioned the Roman and Greek ones, of course. I'm pretty sure they've proven how the pyramids were built. I mean, it's like how people pretend the Easter Island heads are a big myth when they literally just walked them by wobbling them with ropes. You can move a lot of things with enough, you can move anything with enough leverage. This is what I always say to people. You can literally move anything with enough leverage. I was having a really hard time one time getting an air conditioner unit into a window because it was too heavy for me. You know what I did? I used a piece of furniture as literal, like, tilting leverage to just lift and tilt it up into the window. I was too weak to lift it myself, but I used leverage to get it up and into place. That's what they did with the blocks! You know, it's really not that hard to figure out!
Time period that history records, with the tools they had at their disposal, with the materials they built it with, in the amount of time.
The stones, the layers of the Great Pyramid, three-dimensionally lock into each other, and there are two...
And again, it's all these white people saying, nah, there's no way these brown people could have built this. Obviously, the white man civilizations had to be the first and the best at everything.
0.3 million multi-ton limestone blocks. Academia...
Like, just because you don't know how to do it, doesn't mean they didn't. Doesn't mean architects don't understand it. What about Egyptologists who have been studying this shit for years? You know, I think they would know better than you.
Says that it was likely constructed over the course of 25 years. If that's the case, you would have to cut, move, and fit into place one block every 2 minutes.
Not to mention how complex the design is.
No, literally, you can move anything with leverage. Like, if I need to get, like, a really tough root out of the ground when I'm, like, weeding and gardening, I put the shovel under it, and then I stand on the goddamn shovel and use my weight to uproot it, you know? Leverage. It can do a lot.
At Minebot45 sent a super chat, called it. I wouldn't be surprised if he also believes in the phantom time conspiracy theory.
I just love how I was like, I don't know, guys, I don't think he's as crazy as you think he is. And then he drops that fucking bomb on me, and I'm like, holy okay. Yeah, alright, you guys were right. You guys are always right. I gotta stop doubting you, chat.
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. I long suspected history was a load of crap. Though my disillusionment came from a better source in the form of the show Adam Ruins Everything, as hosted by online personality Adam Conover.
Like I said, we can't 100%, we can never say we can 100% trust history. There's just absolutely, without a time machine to go witness yourself, and even then the witnesses would be biased. There's absolutely no way to say that history is 100% accurately reported. That is true. But to say that it's all made up out of some conspiracy, we had a hard society reset in the Victorian age, you know, so we can say white people did everything? Yeah, probably. I mean, like I said, this guy was into manosphere stuff for a while. I would not be surprised if he got into, like, the white man built everything and everyone's just lying that we didn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he got into that shit.
At Sawesomeness sent a super chat. My fave accurate historical biopic is Snyder's 300.
What are you talking about? That was 100% accurate. It was a history lesson.
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. Reminds me of those ancient aliens people. They think math didn't exist until the Victorian era and only for white people.
Fucking Arabs invented math. Well, not invented it, discovered it. That's the weird thing about math. It wasn't invented. It was kind of just... It kind of just works. I don't know. I'm someone who's really bad at math, and people who are good at math are like wizards to me. But yeah, math is a weird concept.
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. You can move boulders with rope and logs FFS.
Yep. Enough leverage, you can move fucking anything, I'm telling you.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. They literally had pulleys and levees to help.
Yeah, no shit. They just had enough, you have enough people moving something with a rope, it'll move.
At the Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Obviously, Our ancestors used to be earthbenders.
Oh my god, you've discovered the secret history that Big Pharma's hiding from us or whatever.
MKV sent a super chat. Woke up at night tax. Who TF is this guy?
This is Armored Skeptic, Dio. He used to be a skeptic atheist guy. He did a manosphere tradwife LARP with a shoe on head for a while, then they broke up, and now he's a conspiracy nut, I guess? Yeah, and I used to watch him back in the day, but he was always a dime store knockoff of Logic, who is my goat.
Is incorporating the golden ratio, incorporating the math for the dimensions of the Earth, including
golden ratio. Oh my god, you sound like Jordan! Oh god! Oh no, you used to make fun of Jordan's spirit science, and now you're saying the exact same shit he does. What are you doing? What are you doing?
complex the design is, incorporating the golden ratio.
You're gonna be out here saying the moon is hollow next! Oh my god!
The math for the dimensions of the Earth, including the distance of the Earth from the Sun. It's in the geographical center of the Earth, pointing due north. The Great Pyramid isn't four-sided, it's eight-sided. There's also the large granite blocks that are integrated to the interior of the pyramid.
This is spirit science shit. This is all the same shit spirit science is. You went out and read all, like, the Drumpamel Kadizagek, whatever the fuck his name is. I think he was in the Epstein files. You go out and read his books and all those fucking white people new age woo-woo shit from the 70s. It's all the same shit Jordan's read. What are you doing?
Pyramid that there's no way the dynastic Egyptians could have worked with.
Copper's just going to blunt on.
You were the chosen one! You were supposed to destroy spirit science, not join them!
Granted, I can't believe it's going to cut the stone. We're going to
I'm kidding, the chosen one is Martimer. He's the spirit science expert, clown honor.
Sand inside the groove, and we're going to put this saw on top of the sand, and then let the sand do the cutting. Will we see any progress in our lifetime? Yes, if you came back in an hour's time, you would see...
Oh, wow, how the fuck old is this video of these three white guys trying to prove that brown people couldn't have possibly built the pyramids?
It's a full millimeter cut. Design went wonderful once we switched over to using water with the sand. As you can see here, we achieved this in just a few days.
And even if they did cut them like that doesn't explain how the blocks fit so flush with each other. You can't even fit a piece of paper or a...
Because they measured and designed them to be that way? Like, does this dude look at brick walls now and go, oh my god, how did they size those so perfectly? Like, and you can even see there's like plaster between them. Like, you sand down a rock until it's the right size. You like, anybody can do that!
a needle between them. Go right next door to the Sphinx. Not only is the body of the Sphinx far more...
You're not very handy, are you? Have you ever built anything, Discount Wendigoon? Have you ever, like, built anything, put up a fence, laid bricks yourself? I mean, if you've never done these things, I can see why you'd think they're mysterious and unknowable.
more eroded than the head, suggesting that the head was actually recarved at a later date, but the walls around the Sphinx display advanced water erosion. Egyptologists believe that the Sphinx is between 3,000 and 5,000 years old. However, some geologists have suggested that the water erosion would require hundreds of years of sustained rainfall, and the last time Egypt had a climate that would explain something like that was between 10 and 20,000 years ago, meaning that the Great Sphinx is at least 12,000 years old.
That doesn't mean that. This means they're still arguing about the water erosion. What if the Egyptians had a pond around it? What if they had an artificial pond around it? That would also cause water erosion. Like, again, you gotta think about rational things before you jump to the crazier shit.
And it was when I heard about all this that I became forever addicted to
Yet again, where's your evidence? Where's your study? What expert even said it? I'm gonna put it down to 1.25 so we can hear him better. But yeah, he's not citing any sources at all. He's just asserting. You're just asserting without citing sources. You're worse than Jordan. At least Jordan cites his terrible sources.
Traveling the mysteries of ancient human history and trying to piece together a new timeline that actually explains everything that we see with our own eyes.
You have become Jordan River. It's incredible. It's like convergent evolution or something. I couldn't tell you enough about the water erosion around the pyramids. I don't know enough about the pyramids to really argue with that, but he's not citing anything. But, like, there's so many other explanations for the water erosion that there could be. Like, again, an artificial pond? You don't think they had those in Egypt?
The first time I heard about the water erosion around the Sphinx, I was only about 12 or 13 years old, but I remember it vividly. The people who presented the theory were mocked and...
The first time I heard about it, I was 12. That makes it more viable somehow?
Ridiculed, and the fallout from the debate forced a spotlight onto an uncomfortable and major flaw in the archaeological community: their refusal to accept evidence that doesn't fit the accepted historical paradigm. But
you know what you sound like? You sound like people who argue for intelligent design in schools. Who act like it's some big conspiracy to hide the truth. That's what you sound like right now.
a lot has happened since the 90s, and our paradigm has shifted quite a bit, mainly because of the discovery of Göbekli Tepe, a pre-Neolithic civilization that predates the oldest known civilization, Sumeria, by around 7,000 years. Most people recognize Graham Hancock. He's
okay, I'm gonna have to, like...
basically the
I'm gonna have to, like, fact-check you, I think. Egyptian... civilization older than Sumeria. Sumerian civilization is generally considered slightly older than or contemporary with ancient Egypt. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's Hobigli Techie or something? Hobibli Techie. It'll correct me. Göbekli Tepe. Okay, thank you. Tell me about this Wikipedia. Tell me about this so I can fact check this motherfucker. Okay, so it's in Turkey. It's considered Neolithic, so not Egyptian. Yeah, so already you've got the location wrong. This is a Turkish... I thought that sounded weird. I knew I had heard the name Göbekli Tepe before. That's what tipped me off. So it's in Turkey. It's from the Neolithic period. So not older than the Sumerians. So that was just a bunch of bullshit you just said. You can tell us how to pronounce it.
Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe. I can't even do it, even.
Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe. That's how you pronounce it. So, yeah, it's a Turkish civilization. Not even Egyptian. Göbekli Tepe was built and occupied during the earliest part of Southwest Asian Neolithic, known as the Pre-Pottery Neolithic, and around 9600 to 7000 BCE, beginning at the end of the last ice age. That's so fascinating, actually. I don't think it's older than Sumeria, though, is it? Let me just take the spelling here and ask Google. Göbekli older than Sumeria. Okay, it is older than the Sumerian civilization, but it's in Turkey. It's in fucking Turkey! So... Sumerian civilization emerged around 5,000 to 7,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe dates back to at least 12,000 years. So it is probably one of the earliest, like, human civilizations founded after the Ice Age. That sounds correct, but not in Egypt. Not in Egypt!
Awesomeness sent a super chat. My favorite accurate historical biopic is the Bohemian Rhapsody movie.
Oh god, now we're talking about stuff like that.
Jeeves009 sent a super chat. Time for time cube ara SRA.
How do I do a time cube? Ada time cube. I don't know. Four-sided, what was it, like 12-day week fucking, I don't think I'm...
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Isn't the golden ratio like an actual thing though?
Yeah, it's like a mathematical thing, but it's not like some weird, intangible, supernatural, spiritual thing like some people talk about it.
At Clyde Albert sent a super chat. I never get to watch Spirit Science, she says. And the monkey's paw curls a finger.
Yeah, now I'm watching Armored Skeptic become Spirit Science.
Bob sent a super chat. You in love Minute Man. He debunks / makes fun of these kinds of people.
Oh, I think I've seen some of his stuff, actually. I think I've seen some of his stuff.
years. Most people recognize Graham Hancock. He's basically the face of lost ancient history. I'm not really a huge fan, but I can't deny what he's done for the field. However, he and a few others in the field seem stuck, quite ironically, on an old, unflexible paradigm themselves. Also, John Anthony...
I don't trust anybody who says paradigm. Anyone who says paradigm is either, like, some crazy loony conspiracy nut, or they're trying to sell you something through a self-help seminar. Those are the only people who use the word paradigm this fucking much.
West, concerned with unpacking this lost civilization and solving the riddle of the Sphinx. And then there's Brian Forster. He's the one that woke me up to the fact that many megalithic sites have amazing stonework that we can't explain, but on top of that amazing...
What do you mean we can't explain it? Taking a goddamn chisel to a rock is like some of the earliest shit humans did. You ever see that trend in Japan where people just take dirt and roll it into like a polished, almost marble-like ball? You chip away at a rock, or you sand a rock long enough, you can make it into any fucking shape. People figured that out pretty goddamn early in history. It's not hard.
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. Americans can never do a good Aussie accent.
True.
That being said, Aussie ara attacks.
Good eye, mate. Aura. Get some
At
fastest.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. It's an odd assumption that ancient humans were less intelligent, or educated, when in truth modern math and science is based on millennium-old ideas.
Yeah, I mean, the reason science works is you throw out the old ideas when new data comes in. They just didn't have enough data to know what we know today. Doesn't mean their intelligence wasn't at the same level. We're all Homo sapien sapient, you know?
At Yin125 sent a super chat. Eternal reminder that ancient aliens is racist.
Oh, unbelievably so. Unbelievably so, because it's never like Stonehenge or the Greek Colosseum that people are going, oh, ancient people couldn't have built this, aliens must have done it. Even though the Greeks and Romans weren't white, people imagine that they were because of old Hollywood movies. So like any civilization considered white or white adjacent, never questioned. Any civilization full of brown people that have their own history that predates, like, the biggest civilizations of white people, no, that must have been aliens. Those people couldn't have been smart enough to do that. Because, like, the Chinese, the Egyptians, the Turks, you know, they're all some of the oldest civilizations on fucking Earth. You know? It's just like, get over it. You know?
Amazing stonework. There's terrible stonework that the world's shittiest mason wouldn't put his name on today. There's more to it.
Uh-huh. So, what does that mean?
But than that's an oversimplification. But
like, wow, there's good stonework and bad stonework today, too. Almost like people have different levels of talent and competentness.
There's a lot of evidence to suggest that a lot of these sites, like the ones in Peru, were actually built a long time ago, then abandoned for some time, and then reoccupied later by the Maya and the Inca. And the Maya and the Inca even have stories themselves about how their cities were built by the gods. For example, this wall has extremely complicated cuts in the stone.
I mean, just because they say that doesn't mean it's true? So imagine they abandon the city, and then they come back to it, like, 100 years later. And, like, people just explain it like, oh, this was built by the gods in the old days, just because they didn't fucking know. Or this is what they assumed. Doesn't mean it's true.
At Varish Wolf 95 sent a super chat. On break. Why did I miss hacks?
I'm definitely convinced that Armored Skeptic is crazy now. First video I watched, I was like, I don't know, guys, he seems like he's still debunking things. And then I got to another video, he was like, here's my theory of how all of history is fake, and we had a societal reset in the Victorian times. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying now. I think I see it. And now he's doing the white guy, all ancient brown civilizations couldn't have possibly built the things they built because the rocks are too accurately cut or something. Again, as if sanding down and cutting rocks isn't like some of the easiest shit to do and figure out. And most ancient people figured it out.
Each stone is wedged so tightly together that you can't fit a piece of paper.
You said that about the Egyptian shit too, but look, they're not wedged that close together. There's obviously some kind of sealant between them, especially on the stairs here. There's obviously some kind of sealant holding them together. What do you mean they're so... Oh, you can't put a piece of paper between two rocks on top of each other. Yeah, you normally can't do that either. Like, take a boulder and put it on top of another boulder and then try to get a piece of paper between them. You probably won't be able to. I mean, what does that even mean?
But behind the surface, the stones appear to have been melted into each other like Play-Doh. These design features make the wall almost...
Well, you know, like, over time, rocks erode, right? You know how rocks erode over time? And they can kind of melt if they're heated enough? You know what lava is? You know, magma? Rocks can turn molten, yes?
Almost earthquake-proof. Not that I ever took it too seriously, but I always followed research on the idea of Atlantis, the concept of this ancient advanced civilization that was wiped away by a flood, and we keep finding the...
And was a metaphor by Plato, and it wasn't a real place. It was never a real place. It was a metaphorical story by Plato. It was never a real place. A bunch of fucking stupid white people in the 70s decided it was a real place.
advanced civilization that was wiped away by a flood, and we keep finding...
Yeah, bro, you never seen cement before? Like, we just found out about, like, ancient Roman self-healing cement that we don't even know how to make today, you know?
Wiped away by a flood, and we keep finding these hints. Later, I'd find out about the Younger Dryas period, a time about 12,000 years ago when the North Pole suddenly melted and then refroze, and at the same time, there's a noticeable rise and lowering of sea level. And
the North Pole just suddenly melted entirely? Okay, what is this theory?
We keep finding these hints. Later, I'd find out about the Younger Dryas period.
Younger Dryas period. I don't even know how you pronounce that. Younger Dryas. Okay, period. What is this? What is this? I'm learning things today, at least. The Younger Dryas was a period of Earth's geologic history that occurred circa 12,900 to 11,700 years before present. The fuck is before, I guess, present today? It's primarily known as the sudden or abrupt cooling of the northern hemisphere. The North Atlantic Ocean cooled and annual air temperatures increased by -3 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So it actually got colder. You're saying the whole North Pole melted? That doesn't seem to be saying that here. Well, warmer areas received more of it. The northern hemisphere, the length of the growing season declined. Land ice cover experienced little net change. Land ice cover experienced little net change. So no, the whole North Pole didn't fucking melt, idiot. Where did you even get that idea? That doesn't sound like it can't just melt. Like, does he think Antarctica is just a big block of ice? Like, there's actual, like, land there, right? I'm pretty sure. Does he think all of the North Pole is just one big iceberg? He thinks it could just melt and then refreeze? That's not possible. If the entire North Pole melted at some point in history, it wouldn't fucking be there today. Like, and again, even if all the snow and ice in the North Pole melted, there's still, like, a land mass? What does he mean? Anyway, this doesn't seem to be anything like he's describing. So, yeah, he's a conspiracy theorist now, young girl ma, but the thing is, he used to be an atheist skeptic debunker. He used to make fun of spirit science, and now he's, like, reading right out of Spirit Science's playbook. It's fascinating.
A time about 12,000 years ago when the North Pole suddenly melted and then refroze.
And just like Jordan, you get an impression of something you heard about, and you add it into your, like, fictional story of how world history is fake, but you didn't even understand what it was in the first place.
At the same time, there's a
You just cited it to sound smart and official, and then I looked it up, and it's nothing like what you're saying.
Noticeable rise and lowering of sea level, and the extinction of a good deal of megafauna in North America. That is, I didn't take this too seriously until just recently there was discovered a comet impact crater in southern Greenland from 12,000 years ago.
Yeah. You know that comets and meteorites impact the Earth all the time? Oh my god! There's an impact crater from 12,000 years ago! Yeah, there's impact craters from like 1,000,000 years ago, too. What's your point?
When that baby hit, it would have vaporized a good deal of the ice cap that would have rained down on the Earth for months, and because of...
So you're saying you think a comet vaporized all the snow in Greenland 12,000 years ago, and that made the North Pole melt? What?
its close proximity to the Arctic Ocean, that impact would have caused a massive tsunami that would have wiped across a good deal of the northern hemisphere.
Not necessarily. Depending on how big. You didn't even tell us how big this crater impact was. Was it even big enough to cause that much of, like, a tsunami and that much devastation? Like, proof? Evidence?
Together, those two effects would have made it seem as if there was a massive global flood. This helped to explain some of the impressive...
You're talking about global flood? Oh my god, you used to make fun of young Earth creationists and shit, and now you're talking about the global flood? I could sense that's where he was going, but I didn't want to believe it.
Carvings that we found at Göbekli Tepe, which seems to depict the story of a great comet. Comets have always been considered bad omens throughout history.
Look at these indistinct drawings that I'm not giving any proof that they are what I say they are, but they're totally about a comet because this fits my narrative.
At Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Isn't the origin of Atene's name that Athena and Poseidon had a dick measuring contest and Athena won? Doesn't mean it was true. At the Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Nobody tell him the pyramids used to be covered in perfectly cut and highly polished limestone. It's clearly impossible.
Yeah, they didn't always look the way they do now, yeah.
Sent a super chat. There is no Atlantis. What about Namor and Aquaman? Are they make-believe anti-sci?
No,
sad
Aquaman...
face emoji. /J.
Aquaman's real, don't worry.
At Hellkite47 sent a super chat. The North Pole didn't melt, but a few glacial lakes burst their ice dams 12,000 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, he put it as like the entire North Pole melted and then refroze, and I was like, that sounds very unlikely. You know? Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, I have what I consider an above average knowledge of things like this, you know, but I'm definitely a lay person, so if I get anything wrong, correct me too.
And perhaps that's because collectively, we have a historical memory of this major impact event. So...
we have a historical memory of Greenland getting hit by a comet?
If this is true and we've unlocked Atlantis, and we've managed to prove that...
So if this is true, obviously Atlantis is real.
They were more advanced than later civilizations. Does that mean that they were completely wiped away?
No, Mad Lad, this doesn't sound like he's joking, or just saying, hey, let's just steel man this conspiracy for fun. Like, if he's gonna say that's what he's doing. No, he sounds like he does believe this. And this is supposed to be his theory that history is a lie. His own personal theory. So he can't even, like, say, like, no, I'm just speculating on something out there. Because, like, that sounds like it could be a fun exercise. Like, take a conspiracy theory you don't believe, but, like, steel man it and argue for it and just see where that goes, you know?
This is true when we've unlocked Atlantis, and we've managed to prove that they were more advanced than later civilizations. Does that mean that they were completely wiped away by the flood, or did...
Does that mean they were Dude, if everything I just said is true... does this mean an ancient civilization was wiped away by a flood because of a comet? And it was Atlantis, which never existed. I mean, I can just go back and say that Atlantis never existed. It was a metaphorical piece of fiction by Plato. People never started saying Atlantis was a real place until like the 1800s. You know? But again, you think we have, like, a society reset in the Victorian times, so white people are the best, I guess,
some of the knowledge survive. And why do the Freemasons and countless other occult groups venerate the pyramid? Do they know what it means? So
the pyramid is, like, one of the oldest shapes in human civilization. I mean, what?
At Hikaru9624 sent a super chat. There's a tapestry showing a comment of some kind flying by here in the UK. While I doubt it hit the Earth, I do recall it was considered a bad omen.
Oh yeah, I mean, people would say, oh, you know, watch the sky for signs, blah, 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 you know, that sort of thing. And this is what people did back then, you know? Well, some people do it now.
That got me thinking, if the Inca and the Maya could end up occupying cities that they themselves didn't build, but history would record it as if they did, Do you think the same thing could happen to us?
Well, I mean, you're saying they did build those cities, moved out of them for a while, and then moved back into them. Like, they could have had a population decline. You know, how, like, in ancient times, people didn't have vaccines and basic medicine like we do now. The fucking common cold could take out, like, fucking, 500 people and leave a city abandoned, you know? Again, there are much more rational explanations before we jump to the conclusions you are jumping to.
But I didn't just find patterns with the building layouts. I found entire themes that survived from Egypt all the way to the Victorian era. And I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of the major architectural styles that existed between those two eras are actually tied together. So that means...
Well, dude, there's like a limited number of ways you can build a building and have it be structurally sound. I mean...
means this whole thing ties into the...
Wolf 95 sent a super chat. I have a theory. Conspiracy theorists are just contrarian.
But I had the super song. They're not contrarian. The thing with conspiracy theorists is what they really are looking for is to feel important and to feel like they're smarter than other people and to feel like they have secret knowledge nobody else does. That's why it's never enough for them. Look when the Epstein files came out. It's like, wow, actually, your fucking conspiracy theory that there's a worldwide satanic cabal of pedophiles was true. And you know what the conspiracy theories started doing? They go, no, this is too easy. This is too easy. They must be just telling us what we want to hear to hide something else. It's never enough for them. They will just keep finding a way for there to be a conspiracy because they're addicted to the feeling of having special knowledge. That's all it is.
Notre Dame's spire. Notre Dame was built with all the same principles as the Giza Plateau and served the same function. And now
all the same principles as the Giza Plateau? What, putting blocks of rock on top of each other? How is the fucking French Gothic structure of goddamn Notre Dame anything similar to the goddamn pyramids? How are these? The arches? What are we talking about here? Actually, did he show Notre Dame on fire? I guess I should feel lucky that I got to go to Notre Dame before the fire. I actually have been to Paris.
the same function. And now, with the spire gone, it no longer does function. Whoa, what am I saying? You're talking...
Wow, how edgy. Quasimodo, watch out! The fire's coming. Oh my god, he's wearing AirPods. He can't hear us. God, Guy, you're like... Oh, God. Guy, you're making us millennials look like boomers. This is such your mom on Facebook trying to be cool boomer-ass humor. Ugh, God, I think he's younger than me, too. That's embarrassing.
Fucking crazy, Greg. And if I'm right, which I probably am, this'll destroy...
I guess I can call him Greg. He's calling himself Greg.
Everything you know about human history and who we were before the Victorian era. This is one of the temple structures in Royal Palace Park, Cambodia. What you're seeing and what you're hearing, as far as I know, is not real.
What? Are we back to the goddamn trumpets of the sky now?
The sources of this video lead to a single Flat Earth YouTube account, and the owner of that account told me that he doesn't remember where he got it. But let's look at this as a proof of concept. In theory, what the creator wants to convey is that atmospheric energy is being collected by a fractal antenna on the roof of the building, and that there...
Oh, is this what I'm supposed to be looking at? This looks like there's like flags or something up there. Where are you going with this?
Reaction is causing an audible resonance. Those balls of light that are floating around are supposed to be plasma. This, theoretically, is a free...
It doesn't even look like light. It looks like flags or something decorating the top. Or it could just be light scattering off of it in the camera lens too. I mean, I'm not seeing energy balls here.
Energy device that's been integrated into an old building. And this seems kind of silly, but there's people out there...
It looks like a fucking kite or something.
...who believe that this kind of technology not only existed back then, but has existed all throughout human history. And through the majority of human history...
Is he gonna say spires on old buildings are antenna? my god, he's crazier than Jordan.
At Sawesomeness sent a super chat. If it was book accurate Quasimodo's, then he is screwed. He was deaf in the novel.
Oh no. Oh no. He could've- See? Look at that, Greg. You could've made an even more insensitive, worse joke than you did that might have actually been funny.
Have been integrating this technology into their buildings all across the world until all knowledge of this history was erased 200 years ago. The Illuminati has apparently accomplished this by capitalizing on—
Oh, the Illuminati! I can't take you seriously now. The Illuminati, of course. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh,
At Week
god.
Freak sent a super chat. We need Inside Job Season 2 conspiracy funnies.
What did dating Shoe on Head do to you? Dear God! Or maybe it was the breakup, I don't know! He's 41? Ah! Well, he is younger than me, but not by much. You know what? I'll give him this. He looks good for 41.
massive natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and mudslides, and then just cleaned up the mess and made up a story about a plague or a war to explain all the bodies, and fake fires to explain all the missing—
Anyway, so if he's almost the exact same age as me, though, so dude, you're making us look lame. You're making us look like boomers. Stop it.
buildings. They then collect and reuse the old masonry to build the next civilization. Masonry? Lying around? Free for—
What? Is he saying they blew up stuff and then used the block? Wait, I missed what he was saying. I was too mad at him. Actual Jake made the same joke at this point. Actual Jake kind of fucking sucks now, too. So.
Of human history have been integrating this technology into their buildings all across the world until all knowledge of this history was erased 200 years ago. The Illuminati has apparently accomplished this by capitalizing on massive natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and mudslides, and then just cleaned up the mess and made up a story about a plague or a war.
Are you implying that the Illuminati cause earthquakes and mudslides? Or that they just, like, whenever, like, something gets destroyed by one, they just... Why would they just say, oh, all these people... Why would they cover it up as a plague if it was a natural disaster? How does that make any fucking sense? What?
At VarishWolf95 sent a super chat. Leave Bill Cipher alone, dude.
And we need... Bill Cipher would make more sense than him. So he's saying the Illuminati would wait for there to be mudslides and earthquakes, say it was a plague, and then hide all the miraculous technological buildings that got destroyed, and then reuse the blocks in new buildings, and that's why they're called the Freemasons. I think you're dumber than Jordan. Wow, wow.
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. I am sorry that this is causing you mental damage, but we told you.
Yeah, you did. I was like a doubting. I should never doubt chat. I should never doubt chat. I should just learn. I should learn my lesson.
To explain all the bodies, and fake fires to explain all the missing buildings. They then collect and—
Fake fires? So was it arson, or did they also have, like, mystical, like, synthetic fire? I can't be sure with you.
Reuse the old masonry to build the next civilization. Masonry? Lying around? Free for the taking?
Okay, so let's ask Google, why is Freemasons called that? Freemasons are called that because they originated from medieval highly skilled stonemasons who were free, meaning they were not bonded serfs or indentured servants, but skilled artisans free to travel for work. So it means they literally were free people. They weren't serfs. Not that they're called the Freemasons because there was just Freemasonry material lying around because the Illuminati causes earthquakes or something. What is happening? I think I need more weed.
Just any old Mason could just take this for free. Just all this.
That is so fucking retarded. Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? History.
No, it's retarded!
Of a destroyed city after a civil war battle. But what if this is an old abandoned city that was destroyed by an earthquake and fire, or a solar flare, or some other natural disaster? What if they just found this—
Or a solar flare? We've never had a solar flare large enough to, like, actually, like, Like, if a solar flare ever got close enough to Earth to destroy a city, it wouldn't just be in rubble, it would be fucking vaporized, my guy.
A city like this, and then rebuilt it and called it their own. What else seems to stick out about these older buildings in these historic towns is that they seem to be slightly buried into the earth, and a little bit more than what you'd expect from just natural sediment over time. As if...
Why? Buildings sink! They literally will sink into the ground. I don't know where he lives, but I live in one of the original 13 colonies, and we have a lot of really old colonial buildings, and yeah, they sink over time. They warp over time. They erode over time. That's completely fucking normal. This is mostly just him not going outside and not knowing anything about construction, I guess. You know, like, Jesus.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. I watch a YouTuber for a couple weeks, start to get a bad vibe, leave, then years later I hear they went nuts. For some reason this keeps happening. But Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. Please say, oh god, I've gone cross-eyed like Austin Powers.
Oh god, I've gone cross-eyed. Well, see, I promise you I will never go crazy because I'm already crazy, so there you go.
Mud had just flowed into the city and filled in the lower levels of all these buildings. And that...
So... every building that's sunken into the ground is mud? Hey, Greg? You see how there's asphalt here? There was not asphalt there when this building was built. So when they put asphalt down, you know, more layers, were raised up, which is why it would cover a door like this. Because Providence, Rhode Island is notorious for this. Our city was built on old cow paths. There's all these narrow one-way streets. It's a pain in the ass to drive in. I never drive there. I always drive and park and walk or take the train. You know? Or somebody else drives. I will not drive there. But I see this shit all the time. Yeah, they build up asphalt all the time. When there's potholes, they just put more on top of it. So, like, decades of concrete and asphalt getting poured will make the buildings lower, yes! It wasn't just like mud naturally flowed in, and like, sometimes they make roads less hilly by pouring more concrete and asphalt in one place than another. Like, Christ, again, me having lived around like old colonial buildings my entire life, this shit's just normal.
Brings me to the name of this conspiracy theory. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to... the mud flood. Ever since high school, I've been obsessed with history. Why history?
Well, it sounds like you haven't advanced in your knowledge since high school, so...
I don't know. I've just always absorbed it like a sponge. Straight out of high school...
Evidently not! Because you've already gotten many things factually wrong.
I ended up taking a summer job as a tour bus operator, and that was perfect because Kingston...
see, when I was in high school, I was a tour bus operator, which makes me an expert at history, you see.
Hometown is actually a historic city with French settlers dating back to about 1670.
Okay, yeah, and my hometown dates back to the fucking Mayflower. Well, not quite, but we came a little later. But, like, I've been to fucking Plymouth Rock. I've been to fucking Plymouth Rock. I've been to where the Mayflower fucking touched down. That's where I live. We have some of the oldest shit here. You know?
73, and that helped me really carve my...
In fact, we have the oldest operational tavern in the country here in my state. Like, the fucking, like, revolutionaries who rebelled against the English, like, met there, you know?
Teeth on my knowledge from around that era to about 1850. That was around the time that all the interesting stuff happened in Kingston. Nothing's really happened since then.
Which Kingston?
Oh,
Which Kingston you in, huh? It sounds like he's more, it sounds like he might be more toward Virginia or something.
Waiter here was the first Canadian Idol.
First Canadian Idol? Okay, maybe you're higher up, actually.
So... yeah. And now I know Kingston like the back of my hand. The tourism industry reigns supreme here, and as my role as a tour operator, I ended up getting to access parts of the city that most people don't even know exist. It turns out that I am actually uniquely qualified to discuss the mud flood conspiracy theory because...
No, you're not! I'm uniquely qualified to discuss this conspiracy theory that I made up because I was a tour bus guide, and the place I live has old stuff. Yeah, that I have just as much expertise living in one of the original 13 colonies.
Most of the structures they discuss.
I don't think he's Canadian, but he does sound Canadian. Wait a minute, is Armored Skeptic Canadian? Ugh. Yeah, he's Canadian. Ugh. I can't complain, though, because Logic is also Canadian, but he's one of the good ones.
Date between the 16 and...
So on top of everything else, he's Canadian. That's bad.
1800s. And they share features with several structures here in Kingston.
I'm pretty sure the British colonies on the east coast of America came before you, so I would be more of an expert then.
There's a lot of different concepts that the mud flood theory tries to incorporate. Some of the stuff I've just completely stayed away from, because it just seems like nonsense. But I'm gonna go through as many of the more...
Okay, so this isn't his personal conspiracy. He picked this up from somewhere. Actually, let's hang on. Mud flood conspiracy. What is this? Oh, dear fucking God. Oh God, oh God, oh God. How deep is this gonna go? Oh fuck. The mud flood conspiracy theory suggests a global advanced civilization known as Tartaria was destroyed by a worldwide catastrophic mud flood in the 19th century. I think we would have records of this. That's pretty recent. Proponents claim modern cities were excavated from this mud, with older buildings, like neoclassicism, being misattributed to historical eras. This, they argue, was followed by a great reset to wipe out, hide, and reassign the history of this advanced free energy civilization. Oh no, it all comes back to free energy conspiracies! No! 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 You guys were right, he's gone insane! He's even worse than Jordan. No, he's not worse than Jordan River. Jordan River will always have, he saw Emma Watson on ayahuasca and decided she's Jesus. That will always be worse, but this is pretty close. Oh god, guys, we're gonna get into some shit here. I've never heard of this Tatardia thing before. The lost system of Tatardia is how I'm gonna pronounce it. Proponents argue a worldwide utopian civilization named Tatardia existed until roughly 100 to 200 years ago, characterized by advanced wireless technology and a unified cultural style. And there's no evidence of this, somehow. We would know about a global, culturally unified civilization from 200 fucking years ago. That is not that long ago in history. On a historic time scale, that's nothing. Oh my god. This is why you guys wanted me to react. This is why you guys wanted me to do this. You knew. Chat, you guys knew I was gonna go crazy on this one. And I think I smoked too much, so this is gonna be a great combination.
Interesting and more plausible theories as I can in this video, but this series is inevitably going to grow because there are several subjects that I want to make.
Oh, fuck me. Where's this whole playlist? There's 50. We might have to revisit. Yeah, we might have to revisit our friend Greg here. This might become a series, guys.
An entire video just focusing on. Yes, they all realize that most buildings have basement windows, but even then, decorative features such as arches are buried under the earth and no...
Yeah, no shit. You think the sidewalk was there when the fucking building was built? No, it fucking wasn't. You know, they probably evened out the land. They've poured tons of concrete there over the years. Over the years, it builds up like sedimentary rock. You remember how you used to debunk young Earth creationists? It's kind of the same principle, only with man-made shit.
Nobody would design a building like that. The conspiracy theory community uses the term mud flood, but that could mean several things. Landslides, mud volcanoes, yes, that's a thing, and a powerful enough earthquake can shake the soil to the point where it liquefies. I suppose.
But across the entire fucking world, and there's absolutely zero record of it. The Illuminati just burned every record in every country, and this civilization you say existed 200 years ago was culturally unified? Did they all speak the same language, too? Like, what? This is stupid!
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. We're all crazy to some extent. It's just a matter of what crazy you can live with.
Good. I utilize my crazy into my YouTube career, obviously.
At DMKV sent a super chat. You're not just a grifter. You're batshit insane.
Again, it's this guy used to laugh at spirit science, and now he's saying this shit. This is...
At
wow.
7693 sent a super chat. Surprised that Milo and Professor Dave haven't ripped into him yet.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Professor Dave was up and coming around the same time as him, yeah.
At Hellkite47 sent a super chat. Free energy is, by definition, impossible.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if you know anything about just about heat exchange, energy exchange, entropy, it's not possible under our current understanding of physics. I mean, you could say we don't totally understand how the universe works, and there might be a way to do it someday, sure, but until you have any fucking evidence of that, it's just speculation.
At VarishWolf95 sent a super chat. GTG, enjoy the brain damage. Here's some money for therapy.
Well, little Greggy Armor here might become a staple of Friday streams at this rate. So, this, God, like I said, I looked at a couple of his videos, and I looked at the transcripts, and I looked at the summaries, and I was like, I don't know, he seems like he's debunking this stuff. I think they're exaggerating. Now we're here. So again, yeah, so he did actually used to be better. He's the first one out of the ones I've done of somebody got worse. He did get worse. So congratulations, Greg. You're the first one who used to have pretty good content, and now your content is just whatever the fuck this is.
Suppose we have to consider the possibility that that's sediment that's been built up over time. But cities get buried.
Don't date shoe on head, I guess, is the lesson here. Cat.
Buried under the earth all the time. Now, nobody in the mud flood...
I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't like shoe on head. I don't care about shoe on head. I'm just fucking around, but it's not a slight against her. It's not the woman's fault that the man decided to be this nuts.
Community can seem to agree on whether or not there were several mud floods or just one, and if they all happened at the same time around the world. But the mud flood...
It's like I'm seeing somebody I used to know having gotten a lobotomy or something. It's fascinating.
Presents some pretty compelling evidence that almost every single one of these cities has been buried under at least one story of mud. And
is it mud or is it asphalt and concrete, and these are like deliberately done things to like even out the land as cities are built up, you know? Like, I mean, that's the thing about colonial cities. They've been kind of just added on top of over time. We don't just tear down the buildings and start over. There's so many buildings in Providence that were probably erected in like the 1800s originally, you know?
Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Hooray. Free brain damage for holidays.
Yep, just... Woo! We'll go back to Jordan next week, then we might come right back to this guy.
That there is no record of this happening. And this is all around...
Yeah, there's no record of this happening, so why the fuck do you think it happened?
Under at least one story of mud. And that there is no record of this happening. And this is all around the world. Russia, France, England, Japan, China.
In places, yeah, older countries that have buildings that were built before the Victorian times, yes.
Singapore, Australia, Turkey, India, South America, Mexico, United...
Are you saying the Taj Mahal is sunken under mud? And the White House? Where's the evidence of that? Because they're excavating down here? I mean, and again, buildings sink over time. You know how fucking heavy a building is?
States, Canada. It's common knowledge that Rome was buried under feet of earth. Egypt was buried, of course. Using this logic, I went...
Egypt was buried because it's in the fucking desert. You know how much sand can get moved around by the wind?
Around my hometown to see if I noticed the same thing. And you know...
Your hometown. Okay, so it's Canada. I was trying to guess where he was from. I don't know where this is, but I'm sure you guys have colonial buildings too.
I went around my hometown to see if I noticed the same thing. And you know what? I did. In fact...
He had to do the little eye thing first, like, oh my god, guys! The old colonial buildings have sunken further into the ground over time because buildings are fucking heavy and the ground is malleable!
Almost every single feature these mud flood cities have resemble Kingston, Ontario. Most original...
These mud flood... Okay, he's talking about Ontario. These mud flood cities. So it's these specific cities, or was it the whole world? I mean, he hasn't really gotten to the most retarded part of the conspiracy theory yet.
Structures that stand today date between 1830 and 1850. There's a big mess, though, because before the Kingston Heritage Committee was created, they would just level buildings indiscriminately. Now you have to do an archaeological dig every single time you want to build something.
So in places that aren't Canada, we actually preserve our old buildings. They're very big on preservation in my state, which is why we still have so many colonial buildings standing. So yeah, in the places you're talking about where you can see archways and windows covered up by the concrete, what they did instead of knocking buildings down, they built around them and renovated them. You know, which is why you sometimes find parts of them buried underground when they laid more concrete and asphalt and shit. You know, it's not that hard to figure out.
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. By the by, if you want better content from a Canadian, my channel has fan ideas for shows of established franchises and some celeb meetup shorts. That's right, I just plugged bitches.
Well, there you go. Go to ActionFan19's account if you want good Canadian content.
Downtown, and every single time they end up finding foundations for older structures. One thing mud flooders will do is...
Yeah, because people just build on top of the old shit.
Sent a super chat. The Leaning Tower of Pisa JS literally showing us how buildings sink in real time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you think the dirt is just unmovable? Of course buildings sink over time. What do you... You know, like how an old house warps over time, the floors get uneven, you know, entropy.
They'll start throwing photos at you of just random people excavating mud. Some of them, completely out of context, makes it...
Yeah, they're out of context, so find the actual context before you say it's your mud flood conspiracy, dumbass.
Seem like maybe they're just digging out a buried city.
Sketchy Sam, I think, last time I did Spirit Science, the conspiracy theory videos, he did go into reptilians a little bit. And again, that's my favorite conspiracy theory.
But others, you can't really deny that...
23 minutes till Artemis comes home. We might interrupt Greg to watch the astronauts land.
That's what they're doing. Here's an anomaly for you in Omaha. This is St. Mary Magdalene Church. The city apparently decided to regrade the streets and level out all of the steep hills. So people...
Regrade the streets and level out all the big hills! Yeah! So they changed the level of the streets, so some of the old parts of the old buildings get underground. You see how that works? Let's see if he understands this or just dismisses it.
A buried city. But others, you can't really deny that that's what they're doing. Here's an anomaly for you in Omaha. This is St. Mary Magdalene Church. The city apparently decided to regrade the streets and level out all of the steep hills. So people started digging out the church, and after they finished excavating it, they discovered that 2 stories of the structure were submerged under the earth. Do you see where...
Okay. But did you get the part about them changing the grade of the roads? Did you get that part? You ever think maybe in some of these other cities that's what they did? They changed the grade of the roads and leveled them out by putting more material up and building up, which is why some of those buildings are deeper underground than they seem like they should be? Have you considered that possibility? And yeah, it's sunk over time, jackass. But you can see, like the main entrance is still up there. So, this could have been a basement level, you know? So, you know, they still had basements back in the day.
At Super Easy Walker sent a super chat. Please say, of course, you don't know anything about science with a German accent because you just made twin clone of a certain German leader. Winking face emoji.
You're lucky I get that reference, and you said it wrong. Of course! Don't you know anything about science?
Where these faux pillars flare out at the bottom. This is an
faux pillars? Yeah, okay, but like, why is the entrance way up high then? You know, like when you... Greg, do you understand what building foundations are? Like, you can't just plop a building down on top of the raw earth. You have to actually dig into the earth and make a foundation, or it's just gonna sink faster.
Indication of where the ground level should be. And you see this side? All these beautiful arched windows?
Because ground level never changes over time. The earth doesn't shift at all. Like, you used to laugh at young earth creationists, and now you're saying the same shit they do.
Okay, well, this one's actually an easy debunk. An article in the Omaha World Herald says that during the street grading, they hired a contractor to build the bottom story and the foundation area. However,
Oh, okay. So, you're saying they added that. Now you just debunked your whole damn thing. After I yelled at you.
Bottom story and the foundation area. However, I will admit that it's very strange that they would build a brick foundation for such a tall, heavy structure that's obviously built on soil instead of bedrock.
Why would they build a structure under the building that they're digging out to change the grading of the roads for? Why would they? The price of the building doesn't fucking collapse, Greg. They had to support it if they're digging out all the earth around it. So what he's saying is they dug up this building and they put a new foundation under it so it wouldn't fall the fuck apart because it's a historical building. Yeah? Okay?
But I'm no building expert. And some of these—
You're definitely no building expert, we can fucking tell!
Depictions show grand structures that either seem to be in the middle of nowhere or have no landscaping around them at all. Then there's these photos of cities like the Vatican, where the entire city is completely empty. Yeah.
Are they, like, building it? What okay, what are these photos from? What year are they from? We could get some context.
Maybe they evacuated the city just to get these pristine shots. If they went through all the trouble to evacuate the entire city,
There's a person right there.
You think that they could have asked this guy to get out of the shot, maybe? It's a little bit awkward that he's just standing there. Oh yeah, you got these—
Also, like, film couldn't pick up as many details as it can today. If there were people moving around when these photos were taken, they probably wouldn't even show up on the picture. You have to remember, this is like, okay, like, I'm trying to place when this could have been taken. We've got the horse and buggy, so this could be anywhere from, like, this could be, like, anywhere from, like, the early 1800s to, like, the early 1900s. Either way, a camera took, like, 10 fucking minutes to take a photo back then. So if people were walking around when they were taking that aerial shot, they just wouldn't even show up. They wouldn't even show up on the film. You know? Like, it wouldn't capture them. That's a really easy explanation.
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. I'd say this guy is pulling some weird science, but that would be an insult to not only an underrated 80s movie but also the best Oingo Boingo song.
I wouldn't agree it's the best Oingo Boingo song, but it's a good one.
At Balonic111 sent a super chat. Sup, how's it going so far?
You guys were right. You guys are right. He's completely insane. He doesn't know how cameras or buildings work. Apparently. Oh god, I hope he doesn't talk about Pompeii. Oh no.
These vagrants hanging out by the statue over here. Hey guys, get the f out of the
So maybe the city wasn't fucking abandoned, you tool! Because again, okay, we're seeing these aerial shots, but if there were people walking around and the camera's taking like 10 fucking minutes to take a photo, it wouldn't capture those people.
He's like the Vatican, where the entire city is completely empty.
He's like, the city's abandoned, and then he's like, oh, but there's people there. Okay? You just, again, contradicted your own point immediately?
You think that they could have asked this guy to get out of the shot, maybe? It's a little bit awkward.
Dead Man's Party might be my favorite Boingo song. It kind of changes from time to time.
He's just standing there. Oh yeah, you got these vagrants hanging out by the statue over here. Hey guys, get the f out of the shot.
So the city's not abandoned, Greg. So why did you even say that?
You're ruining it. It almost looks like they're taking a photo of the Vatican to show off what it looks like right before.
Yeah?
Before they fill it with the next civilization. I want to.
Right before they fill it with the next civilization? Well, then wouldn't all of these people know about it? Taking photos of it? He's like, oh, I don't see any people in these wide shots of the city, so it must be abandoned, and they're gonna fill it with new people. But, again, what is the date of these photos? Did they just build the place? I mean, that's possible. But again, if there were people walking around while the photo was being taken, they wouldn't show up on the film. Because, again, it takes like 10 goddamn minutes to capture the light and form a photo on an old camera.
Right before they fill it with the next civilization. I want to ask yourself a question. If there's
It'd be like, you know, like when you take a photo these days and someone's like running by as you take the photo and they're just gonna be a blur? It's like that, but they wouldn't even be picked up by the camera.
There's no people in the city. Then who took the photo?
Yeah?
These should be bustling cities. How do
Okay, you didn't answer that question. Who took the photo, Greg? If you're saying no people were there and it was just going to be filled with new people, and it's Vatican City, it's like that's like a artificially built autonomous zone for the Catholic Church. You know, that's not like a big bastion of civilization.
How do you build up these giant cities if there's no people in them? I mean, this
the Catholic Church has shit tons of money.
seemed to have been a global event, right? Sure.
Oh, thank you, Cryo.
At Plasmamu sent a super chat. I missed the chunk, but here you go. He sounds like a watchable spirit science. Maybe a 1820s or 30s camera.
I do think this is like an 1800s photo. I wish he would tell us when the photos were fucking taken. But yeah, so his conspiracy theory, there's a good face I paused on. You guys will see it in a minute. The bigger the super chat, the longer it stays up, as you can see. But that's a good face. That's a good face. So right now he's saying that there was a mud flood across the entire world 200 years ago, and I just read up on the Googles. This is apparently a conspiracy theory about a civilization known as Tatardia that was like culturally unified into utopia, and there was a great reset like 200 years ago, and it was all covered up, which is just fucking impossible.
Who took the photo? These should be bustling cities.
Mad Lad says, we have entire neighborhoods of empty mansions nowadays. Abandoned large buildings aren't that far-fetched. Yeah, there's abandoned places, but he's talking about Vatican City, and again, we don't know the context of these photos. Just tell us the context in the year of these photos, and maybe we can figure this out, Greg.
How do you build up these giant cities if there's no people in them? I mean, this seemed to have been a global event, right? Surely there'd be some sort of record of this happening.
There were no people in these photos of the Vatican, these wide aerial photos. In these other photos I showed, there were people. And someone's taking the photos, but the city was definitely empty, and they were getting ready to fill it with more people because a great reset happened. That's not even coherent.
But instead, there are stories like this. The downtown of the city of Chattanooga is a floodplain, and apparently used to flood regularly in the 19th century. This apparently is not so much of an issue anymore, mainly because the street level of the entire downtown was raised. The problem with this is that nobody knows when this street raising was done, where it was done, or how.
I don't know exactly.
What city did you say this was? Chattanooga?
Like this. The downtown of the city of Chattanooga is a flood.
Okay. Chattanooga land raising. I spelt it wrong. Is this like some fucking Canadian thing? Let's see. Land swap. Chattanooga flood prevention. Let's see. Apparently they still get quite a lot of flooding. Hold on.
Floodplain, and apparently used to flood regularly in the 19th century. This apparently is not so much of an issue anymore, mainly because the street level of the entire downtown.
Looking east from Cameron Hill. Chattanooga. Old photo. Looking east from... What did it say? Cameron Hill. See if I can find this photo, so we can maybe see where the fuck this is from. Nope, can't find that exact photo. Any more information on it?
Mainly because the street level of the entire...
3/7/1917. Okay. Chattanooga... 1917 flooding. Okay. Hi. I can't find this exact photo, but yeah, okay, they had floods. Entire neighborhoods were affected. So yeah, this place flooded a lot, and it still floods now, but we have, like, modern infrastructure now, so it happens less. I can't find any information about the streets being raised. Streets raised, 1900s. Ah, here we go. Chattanooga's downtown streets were raised primarily in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as flood prevention measure against the Tennessee River. This, why is it in Chinese suddenly? Project. The Chinese are taking over, guys! It's happening! The mystery of why Chattanooga raised its downtown. Okay, let's read up on this to see if it's what he says it is. There's a hidden layer of Chattanooga underneath the current city. Let's see. Yes, I will cover him so you never have to listen to actual Jake ever again. I used to watch Hugo and Jake back in the day when they did chick tract readings. I think I even suggested a few to them. Walk the streets of downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee today. You'll find little evidence of the town's residents. Yes, you're... Okay, so he's saying no one knows when this was done or how. But below the basement of the 19th century building is made from a mix of cinder block brick walls and Tennessee limestone. It has the feel and smells of older old basements. Can we just talk about raising the fucking streets? I don't need this preamble. Let's see. At some point in time, possibly between 1875 and 1905, Chattanooga built up its roads and abandoned the first stories of buildings in the downtown of the city, turning them into basements. Today, no one knows exactly why or how it happened. The popular theory is that Chattanooga raised its city a story to escape the devastating flooding of the Tennessee River. Okay, so this happened. This article is claiming no one knows how, but... Alright. Raised 1900s. How? I mean, adding new, higher layers of roadbed directly on top of the existing ones. Yeah, that seems to be how you would do it. You know? So no one knows exactly when it was done. And there wasn't a whole record of it. But obviously they just put more concrete and shit on top of the old stuff. Yeah, okay, because the old stuff would flood constantly. Yeah, that doesn't make it mysterious. At least now he's saying white people also can't build things, I guess.
Entire downtown was raised. The problem with this is that nobody knows when this street raising was done, where it was done, or how.
I don't know exactly.
Okay, so we don't know exactly how and when it was done, but it was done, and that doesn't mean there was a worldwide mud flood either.
Because there are, to my knowledge, no firm records that would objectively show, hey, here's what we did when we did it. But most people have said this was done sometime in the late 1880s.
But the mud flooders are not so sure about the 1880s theory. A handful of photos have survived from the region that predate that time.
The fact that this is matched by another window on the other side and there's a door in the middle just tells you that this most likely was an entryway to a business.
This guy goes on to show that a retaining wall was built on the outside of the structure, theoretically so that they could add the fill on the other side. However, I also found an old photo of Chattanooga that shows retaining walls used to stop water from entering the building. So
Well, yeah, that's what retaining walls do, Greg. A retaining wall stops water. How are the astronauts doing, by the way? Are they... Hang on, let's check in with the astronauts real quick. Here we go. I was watching this one earlier, so it's right here. My friend is driving to San Diego
Range
to watch
to splash
this happen.
down 19 nautical miles.
They about to land? I think we lost the inside of the cockpit feed, which is sad, because I kind of wanted to see that. Looks like they're tracking them at the moment. I'm not sure what we're looking at. We're taking a break to watch the astronauts, guys. Fuck Greg.
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail.
Hey, here they come!
No cab one views of the chute.
It's the astronauts! I promise we will make Greg into a series, so we can have this little.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity. Time to splash down 4.5 minutes.
Oh my god, guys, here they come. Here they come. Looks like everything's going good.
And a view of Integrity from the WB-57.
Just like a free fall.
We're at 50,000 feet.
Look how everyone's so... Earth is flat in the chat. Look how happy everyone is, though. I'm so happy that people are interested in space again. This mission is part of their build-up to do Mars missions.
The
manned
pyros
Mars
are armed
missions,
for forward bay cover jettison.
which is very exciting. My friend Celeste is probably in San Diego watching this right now. Here they come! They're coming! They have to land in the ocean. That's all that's left after the rocket. The rocket...
And there go the first series of parachutes.
Hey!
And we're on drogues.
They've,
In Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
They've been in that thing for 10 fucking days. That little thing is all it really was.
2 good drogue shoots. Next up.
We copy, we see them.
Here they go, here they
Next
go!
up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
I wish we had seen a feed from inside, though. That must be gnarly. Here they go!
Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
I'm so happy this whole mission went
We keep
so
the same on board.
smoothly. This mission was perfect. I remember the pilot saying, he's like, oh yeah, I remember the Columbia disaster. And I'm like, you still wanted to be a space pilot? Really? Yeah, the broken toilet was the worst thing that happened. If the toilet was the only thing that broke the whole time, that's good. They fixed that, too. This is super cool, guys. This is historic. There they go! You see how complicated it is to get people in and out of space, though, you know? You gotta appreciate that.
We're at 5,000 feet.
Still 5,000 feet in the air. That's crazy.
Search
All
and
the
recovery beacon has been
parachutes and the
activated
balloons
on
are to
integrity.
slow their descent.
At Balonic 111 sent a super chat. Space.
Space.
Good 3 main chutes. Good
Gotta go to
reefing.
space.
Good
Seal the
descent
space.
rate.
Space.
And we
Space.
see
Gotta go to
3
space.
good-looking parachutes.
Hell yeah! Oh my god. Everything's golden. This is great. It's a beautiful day out. Look at this.
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. Real science in action. So fun, and the wife being
Integrity. Cabin
commemorated was
pressure
beautiful.
indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
I'm not that old, Sketchy.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
We'll wait till they get in the ocean, then we'll go back to Greg. No, sorry, I meant pilot, not pirate.
Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
And they got so many photos and so much data. It's so exciting. I hope we have people actually walk on the moon again soon. They haven't really done that since the fucking 70s. It's complicated, though, you know? And of course, the Columbia disaster was pretty bad. No, they want to go to Mars next, action. They want to go to Mars next. That's the real thing. Oh, are those like little jets slowing it down? What is that? I don't think it is little jets.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
No, we did other moonwalks besides the first one, Miss Jasmine, but we haven't done them since the 70s. Maybe that was just a light. I'm gonna go there and find Marvin the Martian, yes. We're supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Integrity splashdown, sending landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
There they go.
Splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed
At
at 7:07 p.m. Central
super
Time,
chat. Least
5:07
one
p.m. Pacific
THMG
Time.
is going good in this hellish year.
Yeah.
From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to
The
the
picture of
moon,
the astronauts
a new
all dead
chapter of
silent
the
after
exploration
Trump
of
was
our
just like
celestial
rambling
neighbor
at
is
them. It was so
complete.
funny.
Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
Yeah, everything went perfectly. So the Coast Guard is gonna get out there and get him now.
The landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm sure they're gonna interview them afterward and all that. We just had to take a little break. We just had to take a little break from Greg to enjoy that. Alright, I'm gonna shut off the moon stream. Now we're back to this insanity. I might just watch this one video, and then we'll make Greg into a series, guys, because holy fucking shit. I did not expect him to be this crazy. I might want to do his whole history as a lie thing now.
I don't really know what to make of this.
You can see some of the tops of arched windowways that you wouldn't put in at the street level now. Someone has said, well, could those have been coal bins? But you wouldn't have had 6 of them in the same building.
Chattanooga's not the only one in the world. Hell,
Why wouldn't you have 6 coal bins in the same building? Do you know how people heated buildings back then? I was like, there was no central heating, guy.
Chattanooga's not the only one in the United States. It's basically the exact same story in Leavenworth.
Now this is downtown Leavenworth, but below my feet, there's an underground mystery down here that not a lot of people know about or can tell us why it was created. It is a city.
A lot of cities have other shit under them that it was built on top of. Yeah, that is so normal.
Perhaps long ago.
Yeah, we'll probably just finish this video because it's already getting late.
For commerce, windows, doors, and narrow paths lead you to the storefronts.
We know that it was pretty secretive, whatever it was that was down here, because not too many people know anything about it.
The underground world stretches several city blocks and possibly beyond. Some speculate this was...
There's like big tunnels like this under LA that people fucking live in too, you know?
In the 1800s.
Even Kingston's City Hall is quite questionable. The whole basement is lined with archways that were buried under the soil until fairly recently. You can see examples of these large...
Building sink, Greg! Building sink!
Large arches in the west wing, which is the back of the structure, but also all the way along the front of the structure. Almost all of these today have been converted into windows and doors, but the point is that they weren't designed...
Is that him doing some ghost hunting shit at these buildings?
...to be covered. Yet in photos from the 1860s, you can clearly see that the building is buried all the way up to the main floor. Market vendors are actually...
Okay, building sink.
Using the main floor as storefronts? You can't even touch those windows today, they're too high up. I never understood why they designed the building like this, because if there was any kind of flooding, it would just pour right into the dry moat. And in the winter, that's exactly what would happen. The dry moat would fill with ice and water, and there was nowhere for it to drain. And now that I've seen pictures of buildings getting excavated, I wonder if the basement of City Hall wasn't designed to be completely above the ground, like it was up on stilts, on display. The subject of aqueducts always...
Why would a big fucking stone building be on stilts, Greg?
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. I wish words like integrity didn't make me cringe. Words like that and patriot and patriotic have been completely ruined utterly by certain people.
I know, just like the word paradigm.
Comes up with the mudflood community. Greco-Romano style aqueducts seem to be a common feature. For example, there's a Romanesque aqueduct in Mexico. You want aqueducts? Kingston has...
Well, again, there are very few ways to build particular things, Greg. What are you gonna say next? Like, oh my god, bridges across the world have very similar structures. Well, no fucking shit! These were made to transport water. This is what we did before fucking pipes.
In Mexico. You want aqueducts? Kingston has one of those too. Maybe. Well, technically it's in Napanee, which is actually 30 minutes outside of Kingston. A small section of this bridge is made of...
That's a bridge. Do you think aqueducts are bridges? Right, do you think aqueducts are bridges? Aqueducts are to transport water. Again, aqueducts are what were used to transport water places before we had pipes. Is he retarded?
Stone. And though there has clearly been some...
I remember him saying, like, I remember in his old rants he was complaining that he, like, was diagnosed with a learning disability and it wasn't true. And he was mad about that. Greg, I think it was true.
Restoration work done to it, especially around the base, which has more concrete. There doesn't seem to be any kind of record of any kind of stone bridge being built here, and there seems to be no record of...
Because they didn't keep close records of things like that back in the day. I mean, we have every single goddamn thing needs to be recorded these days. Every single municipality project, every single construction project, you need a license, you need, you know, approval from the council. They didn't really do that back then, they just kind of, like, built shit. And didn't write it down anywhere.
At Balonic 111 sent a super chat. You want back rooms? We got back rooms here all under NYC.
Hell yeah, you do. I'm actually kind of excited about the Backrooms movie. I think I'll go see it.
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. This guy probably thinks the Atlas pin is an actual thing.
I don't really know what that is, but I won't think it's whatever he thinks.
At DireWolf181 sent a super chat. Does he not know much stone buildings way?
Evidently not, since he said, oh, it's like this big stone building was on stilts, and it's like, Greg! No! It would fall apart so quickly if you did that!
This restoration. I know this is just probably a bridge. Another thing synonymous with the mud flood is...
Yes, it's just a bridge, which is not an aqueduct!
Star forts. There are some pretty intricate designs, and though many still stand today, there are some drawings of older ones that will really blow your mind. Some are really small, like the ones in Kingston. We have a few, like Fort Frederick, Fort Henry, that's a bit more of a sizable star fort there, and there's a little bit left of the original French fort, Fort Frontenac. But at one time, the entire city of Kingston was walled off. The oldest depiction of City Hall that I can find, supposedly dated
Okay, what do the forts have to do with anything?
To 1850, shows a wall that we now call the Market Battery. And a small portion of this wall has been excavated, but you'll notice that the wall is actually sunken down, and you have to climb down into a hole to access it. But like I said, all of Kingston...
Do you know what foundations are as well? When you build a building, you dig down into the ground first, and you make a foundation, and then you put the building on top of that foundation. Like, that is necessary, or it'll sink into the ground even faster than they already are.
Kingston was walled off at one point, so that Market Battery would have been attached to the rest of the wall, right? Well, what did that Market Battery look like? Oh, that looks like a freaking star fort. Have you ever seen the Statue of Liberty?
What was the point about okay, star forts! And now the Statue of Liberty, like... What was your point about star forts? Like, what was your point about that shape? Are you building up to the Tartaria stuff? And you're gonna say it was all the same civilization? We're doing an Assassin's Creed here? What's happening?
You ever seen the Statue of Liberty?
Yes.
Don't let that cute toga and the shiny flame distract you, because Lady Liberty is holding a secret that's completely out in the open. Just look down. Lower. No, lower. Oh, no foot stuff.
Stop trying to get us to look at her bare feet.
Lower. Yes, that. The Statue of Liberty is standing on top of a star fort. So there's a...
Okay, is he about to tell us what the fucking star fort stuff is about now, finally? I think I paused Andy a little too early there.
Standing on top of a star fort. So there's a theory that some of the really big buildings were constructed by giants.
I want to cave his head in with a rock right now. Let's just see where he's going with this, but I don't know how this relates to star forts.
But if they were built by giants, it would explain why they have such high vaulted ceilings and such enormous, gigantic doorways.
Oh my god, this is like Jordan River saying the giant statues in Egypt mean there used to be giant people. Like, these are just ostentatious things to look grand. High vaulted ceilings are to make, like, churches look grand and imposing. They might be giants. They might be giants.
At Hurtworks sent a super chat. People in different parts of the world figured out throwing pointy sticks helps to kill things for food, Greg. Obvious problem equals obvious solution.
I know, right? Like, people build forts in that pattern, so it's easy to defend the wall and see people coming.
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 sent a super chat. I have no mouth and I must ara.
Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I first ara'd. I don't know. Is that good enough? Yeah, he's just Jordan River now. Oh my god.
You know what? Let's save this one for another video. The art of map making.
Oh, please, let's hear you talk about fucking giants.
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. Wendigoon in the distance. Giants.
Wendigoon's a Christian, he at least has an excuse.
Is very serious. There are liberties taken. Yes, sometimes islands are misshapen, but map makers were
yeah, people don't make completely accurate maps in a time period when we couldn't even photograph the Earth and they just had to go by their measurements and their best guesses.
At Direwolf181 sent a super chat. People just like big fancy buildings armored.
Ladders were only invented recently, so how did people build those big vaulted ceilings? Is this bro for real? Come on.
Ridiculous. They wanted to be as accurate as humanly possible, but then you find...
Yeah, they want to be as accurate as humanly possible, but they're going by, like, descriptions from other people? And, like, measurements taken by adventurers? Nobody could verify this shit until we could get cameras into space, Greg!
Stuff like this. What is this? I've asked several Americans, hey, what did your teacher tell you about why California used to be depicted as an island? And they all replied, what? The world used to know California as an island.
The world? What? Okay, where did these come from? Where did these maps come from? What year were they made in? Insula, California. Is that like peninsula? Or insula? Okay. Insula, California map. That's not what I was looking for. Island of California. Island of California refers to the long-held global misconception dating from the 16th century that the California region was not a part of mainland North America, but rather a large island separated from the continent by a strait now known as the Gulf of California. One of the most famous cartographic errors in history, it was propagated on many maps during the 17th and 18th centuries despite contradictory evidence from various explorers. So even the explorers were like, no, bruh, it's not an island. And the map makers were like, but I heard it's an island. It's like, well, you heard wrong. Oh my god, human error. Human error! Holy shit, must be a mud flood. Come on, like, people could not verify this shit easily in the fucking 1600s, Greg. Nobody could just pop over to California on a plane and go, hey, it's not an island. Like, these are people back in Spain making these maps based on what they've been told about the region, and they've never seen it for them fucking selves. You know? So, yeah, human error. So, for instance, a Spanish map from 1548 depicts California as a peninsula, while a 1622 Dutch map depicts California as an island. A 1626 Portuguese map depicts the land as a peninsula, while a 1630 British map depicts it as an island. A French map from 1682 only shows the tip of the Baja Peninsula. There are slightly over 1,000 maps in Sanford Glens, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, you could see how people could mistakenly believe it's an island, you know, because there is a peninsula. You know, it's just people getting information. It's like how unicorns, the depiction of unicorns probably came from, like, the description of rhinoceroses in Africa. Like, people would go explore Africa and come home and say, hey, there was, like, this weird horse thing with a horn. And artists would just, like, draw from their imagination what they think that looks like. You know? Or, like, how you see, like, cats with people faces. They didn't know what a fucking cat looks like. So, yeah, wow, human error in the 1500s and 1600s when it was not easy to verify the land of California. You know, probably named by the Spanish. But, like, yeah, these things were not easily verifiable or corrected, but it sounds like even back then, explorers were telling them it's not an island. So, that doesn't mean anything!
At ActionFan19 sent a super chat. I think one of the Always Sunny gang put it best when he said science is a liar, sometimes.
Several Americans, hey, what did your teacher tell you about why California used to be depicted as an island? And they all replied, what? The world...
And then they probably said, oh, it was just an error some people made once. Way back when, and it doesn't matter.
used to know California as an island.
In the 1500s!
Again, map makers wouldn't just screw around. People needed these maps to navigate.
Yeah, they weren't screwing around, they just were misinformed. That is possible. It is possible for humans to make mistakes, Greg.
So why is California an island?
Because somebody in Spain fucked it up and it got spread around, and even back then it was controversial.
Seriously, when I was a kid, I was told that cartographers were mistaken by the peninsula off of Mexico, and they just assumed it went on forever. But that doesn't explain these 4 islands that just happen to perfectly correlate with the largest mountains in that region. Oh, and
okay. So somebody was misinformed. Maybe they saw those mountains over the clouds from the peninsula and assumed they were islands. Again, there was no air travel. People couldn't easily verify this shit, man.
and this is my favorite part. Where's San Francisco? The city by the bay. Oh, it's by the bay, but it's by the wrong bay. It's supposed to be at another bay. So how—
Yeah, wow, somebody in the fucking 1600s getting fifth-hand information from explorers who had to, like, spend, like, 3 years sailing over to America and exploring it, got the shape of the fucking state wrong. Imagine.
How does that happen? Whatever it was that filled in the strait with Earth, did it cover up—
Nothing filled in the strait! A cartographer just fucked up!
The old San Francisco? And since people just
Again, these are arguments he used to make fun of when young Earth creationists did this shit. Are you gonna say that the fucking Grand Canyon was formed by the mud flood next? Is that what you're gonna tell me right now, Greg?
remembered the name San Francisco? They're like, yeah, we'll just call one of the new reset cities San Francisco, the city by the bay. And this got me wondering if this had to do with the
There wasn't a city then, Greg. It was 1650. There was not a city there, so it doesn't matter.
Streets with no name song.
It's almost like the cities were named after the regions the Spanish named, which is why we have Los Angeles and San Francisco and all those places with Spanish names in fucking California.
@Comire_Lirian sent a super chat. I still remember an elephant in a mural in Italy. It looked like a horse. People don't know everything, bro.
Exactly.
HSL sent a super chat. I wish conspiracy PPL would realize they could just write a book with their perception of reality being a whole new world. That would be more interesting than listening to how they justify the conspiracy.
No, just write fiction, man. That would be fun. You could write a whole mud flood fiction, historical fiction. It'd be fine. I don't think he's joking, Replica Rabbit.
Oh, streets with no name. That's not the song. But I highly encourage you to go through some of these maps because you're going to find a lot of stuff that surprises you, like entire islands that are just not there anymore, like free.
Or were never there because these cartographers fucked up. Like, how old is this map? Carta de Navegar de Nicolo et Antonio Zeni. So, Carta Nicolio et Antonio Zeni. Map. Nicolio et Antonio Zeni. Let's see if we can find out what the fuck this is. Oh, cool. Dictionary of Canadian. This is it, then. This is the map he's talking about. It was made in 1558. Dino, Niccolo, and Antonio, 2 Venetian brothers, reputed to have sailed to the North Atlantic circa 1380. To have made several voyages to several islands in the North Atlantic and even have reached Nova Scotia shortly after 1403. Their supposed voyage is based on a book published by a member of the Zeno family in Venice in 1558. Okay, so the first record of this was in 1558, and this dude is saying, oh, my ancestors totally, like, went to these islands in 1403. Just trust me, bro. So yeah, it sounds like this is very dubious. The importance of the Zeno fabrication lies not in the narrative, but in the map of the North Atlantic appended to this. It was accepted as genuine for more than 100 years after its publication in 1558, and its mythical islands and fantastic names found their way into several maps, including Mercator's map of 1569. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not a map spurg. It has, however, been shown conclusively that the Xeno map was based on the 1537 map of the northern regions executed by the Swede Oles Magnus, and on the 15th century map of the Dane Claudius. So the literature on the Zeti brothers is voluminous, and the number of those who have accepted their story as genuine is astounding. Many have accordingly attempted to identify historical. So basically, this is bullshit. That's all we need to know. This is bullshit. A guy said, "Oh yeah, there's totally like these islands here, and my ancestors went there like 100 years ago," and everyone went, "Okay, bet," and then it turned out to not be true. Okay, people can lie. People can be mistaken. People can fuck things up. Yeah, you gotta rule all of that out before you start saying supernatural bullshit.
Miss Jasmine 305 sent a super chat. Does he think people are omniscient beings that are never wrong? Bruh.
Or never lie, or never just make up stuff for their own, for their own advantage, like the people who make up that Atlantis is a real place, like that.
Friesland, there's Greenland, Iceland, and Friesland. Except...
Yes, this was made in 1558 and was proven to be bullshit, Greg. I just read about it.
Friesland doesn't exist anymore. Is that a secret?
It never existed!
The Naughty Island? I don't know, but I'm going to say yes.
You need to take Skeptic out of your channel name. It took me 5 seconds to look up that this is horseshit.
Subscribe to my channel. Not that I would ever agree with such a gross oversimplification, but the main group that the Mudflood community seems to attribute these structures to is an old empire. The largest empire to ever touch the face of the earth. And you don't even know it exists.
Tatardia! We already read ahead in the book, so let's just get this over with.
I want you guys to sit down for this part, because this is true. Tartaria, also known as Tartar or Tartary, is depicted throughout history...
Tartar sauce civilization, I guess, yeah.
True. Tartaria, also known as Tartar or Tartary, is depicted throughout history on several maps, often colored in yellow, and it changes shape and...
Grande Tatari. What does that mean, though? That's Espanol. Espanol. Grande Tatari. Let's find out what that means. Grande Tartari. What is that? What does it mean? Grande Tartari, or Great Tartary, was a term used by European cartographers from the 16th to 18th centuries to describe the vast, largely uncharted region of North and Central Asia. So it's Russia. So basically, it was uncharted. Not a single country or political empire, but a vague geographical designation for Siberia, Mongolia, and surrounding areas inhabited by Turkic and Mongol people. So basically, we don't know what the fuck is up here. That's what it means. We don't know what's here. Basically, it was just like, and there's just something here we haven't charted yet. So that's all that means. I know what grande means. I don't know what a Tatari is, but, so, yeah, old maps frequently label this area Tataria or Grande Tatari, reflecting limited European understanding of the region until the Russian Empire's eastward expansion. So basically it was, we don't know what's up there. And of course it's part of this mud flood shit. But this is just like people thinking Atlantis is real. This is just like people talking about, like, Naribu, the planet that's gonna crash into Earth. Like, bro, you were just, like, eating up all the shit you used to make fun of. That's amazing. So now I just know, again, from a 5-second Google search, that this was just, we don't know what's here. That's all that means.
In size throughout time, as it grew and shrank, Tartary...
It's like, you were so used to modern times and us knowing, like, every corner of the Earth. And yeah, it's hard to imagine that people just didn't know what other countries were like. I mean, think about Aladdin, for example. You might not know this, but the original Aladdin story is supposed to take place in China. It is not very accurate to how China was at the time, because the person who wrote the story had no goddamned idea. They had just heard of China and heard stories about it. It was the mysterious Orient. It was a land far away, you know? Like, you couldn't just look up photos of places. You had to go by what other people told you about places, and a lot of that was a game of telephone. So you can't just say, like, you can't act like people in the 1500s knew the totality of the entire fucking Earth. They didn't! They were guessing a lot of the time!
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. The GTA 6 mapping community debunks the sky.
I bet they do.
At MatthewMinus3527 sent a super chat.
I appreciate the empty super chat. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my descent into insanity that you guys put me on. You should pay your taxes.
At one time, almost took up the entirety of Asia and even parts of Europe, the Middle East.
So, no, this is just people, like, not accurately depicting what's there because it was the 15-fucking-hundreds.
East and Northern Africa. I didn't even know Tartaria existed until
So, Greg, do you think, like, the dragons on the map? Do you think when they put, like, sea monsters and dragons on the map, do you think that's proof that those were real, too? Do you think there were giant ships out to sea just because they're on the map? Are these the gods at the edge of the flat earth? What do you... Like, come on!
In Africa. I didn't even know Tartaria existed until just a couple months ago. A few people...
I need to bang my head against the wall. I don't have room to do it here, though. Oh, God. I only found out about this a few months ago, and I just made it my entire personality.
People have told me that they knew about it, but that they were taught that Tartary is just the word you use to describe wild, uncharted lands?
Yes! Yes! It'd be like calling it the hinterlands. You know, like, oh, there was a mysterious place called the hinterlands. It seems to have disappeared from a map. All it means is we don't know what the fuck is there.
At Miss Jasmine305 sent a super chat. They used to put sea monsters on maps. Does Greg believe in Charybdis and Scylla too?
See, we shared a brain cell there, Miss Jasmine.
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. He's meant to be an atheist, right? Why is he completely trusting the maps of people from a time period where a majority 100% believed in God?
I'm not even sure he's an atheist anymore, but he needs to take skeptic out of his name. Jesus.
Tartary. So Tartaria was supposedly mostly occupied by nomadic tribes, kind of like the Mongols.
The Mongolians? Yes, they were pretty nomadic, and people would know what the Mongolians are. Do you remember how, like, they nearly took over fucking Europe before Genghis Khan died?
Oh, Tartaria is Genghis Khan's empire, isn't it?
Censored yourself, bitch. Yeah, I just said that.
So the most baffling thing about Tartaria is how long it seemed to last. Well into the 17 and maybe into the 1800s.
It didn't last. All it meant was we don't know what the fuck is up here. Could you point Mongolia out on a map, Greg? Could you point any of the countries up in that area out on a map? I don't think you could.
So the problem with the theory of Tartary just being wild lands is that Tartary has their own flags, their own symbols, their own culture.
I mean, yeah, there were people there. They just didn't know much about it. That's all.
And there's
It even says descendants of Genghis Khan up here. It even fucking says they're talking about the Mongolians.
Recorded lineages for their emperors, for uncharted.
Yeah, Genghis Khan. It just said fucking Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan! Right fucking there, Greg! It's in your own goddamn example. They're talking about the goddamn Mongolians.
Emperors for uncharted wildlands. They seem pretty well charted. They've marked down cities and towns and...
Yeah, this is how the Europeans thought about it, my dude. I'm sure the Mongolians had their own maps. Why aren't you showing maps of, like, the ancient Mongolians and Russians and the people they came from? They probably had more accurate ones.
Provinces, mountain ranges and rivers and lakes.
How do you know somebody wasn't just making this up? People can make shit up, you know?
Forests. If Tartaria was this big, then they must have had a lot of cultural influence throughout the entire world. And
yeah, remember how the Mongols almost took over Europe? Yeah!
This is why the Mudflood community believes that every city around the world has the same neoclassical architecture. And Tartary wasn't the only world power, and it's...
Oh my god, buildings built around the same time kind of have similar building techniques. Wow!
Hard to tell just how integrated they really were. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Dude, it's Mongolia and Russia. It's Mongolia and Russia. That's what Tartary is!
There's just too much information for me to go through all in one video. I can't even seem to form a coherent line of thought here. I've always enjoyed—
Yeah, I've noticed that, yeah.
Alternate reality conspiracy theories. It sort of reminds me of the electric universe model, which isn't really a conspiracy theory. These are the kinds of puzzles I give myself. And usually when I
And you don't seem to understand any of them very well.
jump into a new conspiracy theory, it doesn't take that long for my brain to just start naturally rejecting what it's hearing because logic
Again, are you sure you didn't have a learning disability?
and reason take over. But sometimes when I start to try to debunk something, I can't grasp on anything, and I just keep
Take your meds.
falling deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. Sometimes that's
Oh no, Space
At
Frog.
Direwolf181 sent a super chat. Is Genghis Khan the new pool hopping?
I guess.
Lol.
God! Oh.
At the _ space frog sent a super chat. Learning sativa is not for me, maybe is Greg's fault.
I warned you. So Space Frog, poor Space Frog, came toddling home from his first trip to the dispensary and posted a picture in my Discord like, did I get ripped off for this? It was $60 and it was a disposable vape. And I was like, no, that's about right. They're about the equivalent of an eighth of weed, but you got a strain called Ghost Train, which I know to be a heavy sativa. And I gotta warn you, sativas are the ones that make you hyper and paranoid. And I swore I'd never touch Ghost Train haze ever again, because I had a very bad time on it. So, yeah, Space Frog, next time look for hybrids or indicas for your own sake, because I'm pretty sure you have a very similar anxiety disorder to mine. I know how I get on some sativas, and it's not good.
It's because the information you're getting is fake, like the UFO phenomenon. And unfortunately, for those that love the mud flood
The UFO phenomenon's also fake news. Oh god.
theory, there is a good deal of evidence that this is all manufactured as well. But even not knowing what the sources are for some of these things, some of the photos, even not knowing what the context is, it still leaves you with questions. It still leaves you wondering, what the f*** are these cursed images? The whole concept of ancient aliens actually—
People excavating cities and rebuilding roads and changing road grades. That's what... Do you think people didn't do construction projects in the 1800s?
It comes from a string of common stories from cultures all around the world of these people that came and taught them culture and law and technology. And oddly, several of these cultures actually depict these gods very similarly as—
You have become Jordan River. It's unbelievable. You have become Jordan River. How did you do this?
as bearded men that carried little purses and had like a little doodad in their hand. I don't know what that means. I'm betting whatever the purse and the
I'm pretty sure the things you're showing are just Egyptian, Babylonian, and Sumerian, so of course they'd have influence on each other's art.
doodad are the same thing as the orb and the scepter.
How are they the same thing as the orb and the scepter? Those are two completely different symbologies, and also, oh no, are you going full Assassin's Creed backstory? Are you gonna tell me this is the Apple of Eden and it's gonna brainwash the world? Is that where we're going?
I think that these gods were actually just survivors of Atlantis, and they brought Atlantean technology
Atlantis wasn't real! It was a metaphor by Plato!
and the knowledge that Atlantis had accumulated. But I'm having so much trouble trying to fit it all in right now. Like, I don't know if they were trying to rebuild Atlantis. For example, were the
Take your fucking meds.
pyramids in Mexico already there before the Atlanteans showed back up? Or when they showed up, did they build a brand new style of architecture? Yeah, I'm just having trouble trying to make this whole
Atlantis isn't real, man. It was a Disney movie. Atlantis isn't real.
conspiracy theory work. If the Tartarians, if they're the ones that built all the neoclassic
There's no such thing as Tatarians either. Now you're saying they built all the neoclassical architecture around the world? After saying they were just where Mongolia and Russia is? And they were probably just the Mongolians and Russians, the Europeans just didn't know enough about them at the time?
Gothic style architecture, then who built the original Greek and Roman stuff? Around the time that I started looking—
The Greeks and Romans did,
into the mud flood, the movie Aquaman came out. And that's when I started to wonder why Atlantis—
as soon as I was getting into this conspiracy in a shitty MCU movie, like, solidified by evidence, I guess.
is always depicted as having Greco-Roman architecture.
This is ADHD mixed with something else. Are you on crack?
I mean, yeah, it's dumb to assume that all the artists that have ever depicted Atlantis know that they're depicting Atlantis as Greco-Roman. So this is where we integrate the conspiracy theory that—
Well, yeah, the people make Atlantis Greco-Roman because it was Plato's story, so you just kind of naturally think Greek, you know?
we have the historical timeline completely wrong. One book that has like a whole series of equations that you can use to figure out what the astronomical layout was at the time that the structure.
What the fuck is this? Okay, now I'm gonna look up what the fuck this book actually is, because I don't trust that it's what you're saying it is. Anthony T. Fomenko. History, fiction, or science? Alright. Anthony T. History or science. What is this book? That's not the right guy. I guess I should have used his last name. There's a more famous guy with the name Anthony T. Fomenko. Anatoly? Oh, it is Anatoly. My bad. Anatoly. I just want to find the goddamn book. Highly respected mathematician. Okay, so what is this book actually about? Let's see. Recorded history is a finely woven magic fabric of intricate lies about events predating the 16th century. There is not a single piece of evidence that can be reliably or independently traced back to earlier than the 11th century. This book details events that are substantiated by hard facts and logic, and validated by new astronomical research and statistical analysis of ancient sources. Okay, this is sounding a little conspiracy nut, but let's look at the reviews. Look at the one-star reviews. Pseudo-history at its worst by Ark Stanton. This guy seems trustworthy. The only conspiracies here have to do with a number of insanely positive reviews. There are 20 here where the reviewer only has one review to their name, and it's a 5-star review for this book, and more coming. Funny that. It's almost like somebody has set up multiple accounts and is trying to up the rating. Let's just turn on some music while I read this. Parallelism indeed. Oh, this is sassy. Oh, ooh. 2 and no other reviews may be a coincidence, but 2020. Good job, buddy. Very subtle. You might as well have just copied and pasted your review. So I'm not a mathematician, and I don't know enough to contradict Fomenko's math, but I don't have to. By that reasoning, Fomenko wouldn't be able to contradict me because I'm a classical history major, and this is ostensibly a history book. I can tell you exactly why his math must be wrong and why he should be ashamed to call himself a scientist. Scientists must make the models match the data, not the other way around. That's why something's pseudoscience, when you try to match the data to your model instead of following the data to a model. You know? When the facts don't fit your theory, then the problem isn't with the facts, it's with your theory. And boy, do these facts not fit his theory. It would be hard to think of a way in which history could make less sense than it does through his model. Damn! First, a brief explanation for anyone not familiar with this book. Anatoly Fomenko is a doctor of mathematics at Moscow State University. Despite the lack of support from his colleagues, who consider his idea in history nuts, he published a series of 7 books in which he rewrote the history of the world based on his ideas of statistics. As explained in the back cover, Jesus Christ was born in 1053 AD and crucified in 1086 AD. The Old Testament refers to medieval events. Apocalypse was written after 1486 AD. So thousands and thousands of years after we actually date it. Okay. I'll go more into why he thinks that makes sense later. The Roman Empire and all of its... It always goes back to the fucking Roman Empire. The Roman Empire and all of its classical civilization was invented by Jesuit monks who wrote in a remarkably short time of all of Western literature and invented an entire civilization which people then immediately forgot ever existed. All classical buildings are simply medieval ones that have been misdated. Oh, this sounds nuts. And now a brief history of, well, history as seen through Fomenko vision. History begins when Andronicus Komnenos dies and becomes Jesus. History records him as an unsuccessful Greek emperor with no real successes who was beaten to death by the mob, and not a poor prophet from Nazareth who was crucified, but hey, what do they know? It's not like the crucifixion is an important part of the story or anything. Immediately, all of Europe decides that they're Christian and march against the Muslims. It may sound confusing why they'd blame the Muslims for what was an internal coup, but they were probably just confused because Muhammad wasn't born yet. At some point, they changed their minds and decided to skip the first 3 crusades and jump right into the 4th. Except they didn't. It was actually the same as the first, obviously. Please try to keep up. They then sacked Constantinople, which was also Rome, which was also Troy, which was Jerusalem. At some point, they get confused and occupied the Holy Land as well and forgot all about Constantinople and let it fall back to the Greeks since Jerusalem was now Constantinople, which was Troy, which was Rome. This book sounds insane. People back then had very short memories, often forgetting why they did something before they even did it. Very sad. During the First Crusade, the Greeks decide to avenge the kidnapping of their queen by also sacking Constantinople. After sacking their own city, they quietly vanished for a few years, probably in embarrassment. Sometime later, Erasmus wrote the New Testament, confusing generations of scholars who wondered what they had been copying for all of that time. What, he took this guy thinks a single person wrote the New Testament? Like, that's just provably false. Like, even if, not even from a Christian perspective, from a historical and theological perspective, like, no. It was all written at different times. Having now written the New Testament, it was decided that they needed an old one. I'm sure the reasons for the reversed order are obvious to everyone else as they are to Fomenko. Sometime in the 15th century, David rose up, except he was Turkish and ruled Constantinople. Despite the many wars with the Turks, Europe had never warred with the Turks and accepted all these events as Holy Writ. After all, the Turks were really Russian in funny hats, and the Russians ruled the world. The Byzantines were secretly ruling in England. After the death of Suleiman, the Jews split off from Christianity because they were tired of not being persecuted. He says the Jews split off from Christianity and not the other way around? Okay, this sounds like a fucking crazy Christian historical revisionist. Like, this is the kid, so that's all you need to know. This book is fucking nonsense. I'm gonna trust this guy's review. Come correct me if I'm wrong, Greg. I almost said Jordan. Jeez, you two are looking an awful lot alike these days. You just need some colorful tapestries in your room. Oh god, in the confusion, the Catholics and Orthodox Christians split apart as well, because everyone else was doing it and it seemed like a good idea at the time. They were to regret this later when the Catholics sacked their city, but that had already happened, so it was fine. It turns out that Russia has dominated the world since the earliest recorded history. What nationality was Fomenko again? Oh yeah, he was Russian. The Mongols were not from Mongolia because the people there were nothing but worthless servants of the Russian Empire. It's okay, Fomenko assures us that the Mongols never knew of Genghis Khan until some pesky monks told them that they used to rule the world. So he thinks Genghis Khan was made up? Like, there's a lot of evidence for him. Russia was actually the major empire that the Romans were based off of and have existed since the dawn of civilization. Silly Georgians thinking they are anything but the personal property of Russia. Okay, so not only that, he's a Russian nationalist. Like, crazy Russian nationalist. Okay, so this is all just to say Russia is the best. Oh my god. I don't know enough about history to, like, really articulate, like, this guy is, but you can tell, like, this book is... Oh my god! He put out... It seems best to explain why he is wrong about the facts he lists before going into the facts that he's ignoring. First off comes... This comment is... I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but... Yeah, this book sounds like utter fucking nonsense. So you read this book, you broke your brain, you started believing in a mud flood? Guy who used to make fun of young Earth creationists saying the Great Flood carved out the Grand Canyon. You used to laugh at people like that. Now you are people like that. That's,
the astronomical layout was at the time that the structure was built, or that the events happened, so that you can tell what time period that it was supposed to really happen in. Sir Isaac Newton was actually one of the proponents of this theory, and he believed
Chronology of ancient kingdoms met. I'm just going to assume he's full of shit about this.
events like those that happened in the Greco-Roman times happened in more the medieval era. Some people, they like to add around 1,000 years. I only really have like 2 heroes in science, and that's Nikola Tesla and Sir Isaac Newton. There's a few different
and both of them would think you're an idiot.
theories about how the history timeline got screwed up, and there's so many different places that they could have added time. If you stretch time out, I guess it would be sort of like a stick of gum. It would break in a bunch of different places, but there wouldn't be one chunk.
Let me turn off my music.
That had the most stretch. That was a bad metaphor. But some time period...
It was an extremely bad metaphor. Why did you leave that in?
...periods in their entirety are questionable. Like, the Dark Ages, there's so little written history for the Dark Ages that it's possible to just...
Well, because the Dark Ages was only in Europe. You're being very Eurocentric. You've been Eurocentric this entire time. You're looking at only European maps of things, and not like maps that maybe the native peoples of the Americas had, or the Mongolians themselves had, or the early Russians had. You're only looking at European shit. You're being very Eurocentric, you know? But it's like, yeah, the Dark Ages were only dark for Europe because there was a giant fucking plague that killed off like a third of the population. That's why other places were doing fine during the Dark Ages.
This never happened. And I mean, all of England's history around the time that Rome supposedly left.
Like Mad Lad says, Isaac Newton believed in alchemy just because someone is really smart about one thing doesn't make them right about everything. Good example of that, Ben Carson. Ben Carson once ran for president. Ben Carson thinks the pyramids were grain silos. Ben Carson, I'm pretty sure, is a young Earth creationist. Ben Carson is also the best neurosurgeon in the world. So he can be really smart in one area, really dumb everywhere else. I think Marie Curie believed in seances. You know, because just because someone is a really accomplished scientist doesn't mean they don't believe in some pseudoscience.
At Gargarock Bob sent a super chat. Armored Skeptic? More like, Armored Schizophrenic. Boom, got him.
Got him! I mean, yeah, this is some schizo
At Dire
ranting.
Wolf 181 sent a super chat. Beards were signs of power and authority back then.
Yeah, that's like why the one, like, Egyptian female pharaoh, like, wore a fake beard.
At Dire Wolf 181 sent a super chat. Aquamarine is DC, not Marvel DX.
Oh, is it? Oh. My bad. His bad.
At
I don't know whose bad
Daviculus
that was.
sent a super chat. Aquaman goes hard, he goes beast mode on a creepy British dude with the help of crab people.
That does sound pretty good. I still say the best Aquaman is Batman the Brave and the Bold Aquaman.
At Dire Wolf 181 sent a super chat. Newton believed in alchemy, he wasn't always right.
Like, pseudoscientists today do this shit. It's like when fucking Jordan Rivers like, oh, this doctor investigated this and says that, and then we looked up the guy, and he's a doctor of chiropractic, which is not a doctor. Or these guys that have, like, doctorates or PhDs in computer science, and they're talking about fucking biology. It's like, that is not your expertise, my dude. You know? So...
It's really questionable. That's why their history is replaced with the story of...
Oh, no!
At Evie Tomato Soup Full sent a super chat. I'm a history major. Research masters. I'm dying.
I'm sure you are. Like I said, lucky for me, I'm just a layman with above average knowledge of science and history, but I'm nowhere near a fucking expert.
freaking King Arthur and the Round Table. That's fiction. That's not real. But
yeah, King Arthur and the Round Table are fiction, just like fucking Atlantis, you moron!
It's their history. There's a lot of competing theories to how this time was changed, but the most commonly used argument was that Pope Sylvester II and Emperor Ottoman III, glad I remembered that, they teamed up and basically added years to history so that they could say that they were the rulers at the turn of the millennium into the...
How would that work? I mean, the Chinese have their own calendar. The Jews have their own calendar. Pretty sure the Japanese also have their own calendar, so there are other non-Eurocentric, non-Christian calendars out there, my guy. So if somebody added thousands of years to history, you'd have to, like, see it in their calendars, too. So, yeah.
Year 1000. One of the theories is that the entire Roman Empire is a lie, and that it's a giant cover-up to explain missing Tartaria history, missing history for other...
Why? Oh, the Roman Empire, the real thing we can prove must be made up because of this land we can't prove, because I'm just misunderstanding ancient maps, having a, we don't know what the fuck is up here, and calling it Tartaria for short. Yeah, so we have to get rid of real history to supplant it with your fake history that you have absolutely no good reason to actually believe is real? Okay.
Works sent a super chat. Then you slayed the Jabberwocky and went on to save Narnia.
Yes, and then you slayed the Jabberwocky and went on to save Narnia.
At Minebot45 sent a super chat. Oh my god, I was joking about the fandom time shit.
This is your fault. You think he's gonna start talking about the time cube next?
Other empires and nations and kingdoms that are gone now. But that's a hard pill to swallow because there is so much written history and archaeological evidence that Rome existed. So...
Yes!
Sorry,
and there's no evidence that Tartaria existed, except on some European maps from the 1600s, they just label what is now Russia and Mongolia as Tataria, meaning we don't know what the fuck is up there.
I can't really buy into that one, guys. What I can believe, though, is that Rome had this technology. So if Greece is in the Middle Ages, then...
We're going back to Assassin's Creed now, yeah.
How does it really fit in? Where's that architecture come from? According to the stories of Plato, some guy told Socrates that his grandfather went to Egypt a long time ago, and a priest told him about an ancient Egyptian empire, and that's how we know about Atlantis. The Egyptians supposedly...
Except Atlantis was a made-up story by Plato. It was a metaphor!
...came from an ancient island chain known as Hyperborea. These were the people that supposedly built the pyramids.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, you're taking Plato's narration from his fictional story as fact. He's like, oh yeah, some guy told me and told Socrates about this shit, you know?
All across the world. This story's kind of a riddle. In fact, the entire oral tradition of verbally telling stories of history is kind of a game, and we've totally lost the context of how to translate it. The story also includes subtle subliminal hints that are supposed to subvert a listener.
Dude, there are experts in, like, ancient writing and ancient fiction and stuff that can explain this to you. You should maybe go, like, to one of their classes or read their books or watch their videos and stop talking about this.
There's critical thinking skills. For example, the fact that Plato added 3 degrees of separation and then a great deal of time to the story. You'd think that that would make the story less believable, but subconsciously it actually makes it...
It wasn't supposed to be believable, it was a metaphor.
More believable. Believe it or not, hearing that the story came from a wise old man makes it seem more credible, because wise old men are credible, even though they haven't even demonstrated that this wise old man...
As long as they're white, anyway.
...even exists. Historians believe that Plato...
Which I imagine you're picturing all the Egyptians and Romans and shit as white guys. I imagine you are.
...concocted the story as a way to inspire the Greeks, because it's about coming together and rising up against adversity, and about how arrogance is crippling and will end up sinking you in the end. But it's hard to tell because the entire art form of oral history telling is just dead. So the story of Atlantis apparently...
It's not! You know anything about Japanese theater? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Continued on with a story of another empire that followed up afterwards and then was struck down by lightning. I wonder if that's supposed to be Babylon? And Babylon, or at least the Tower of Babel, is always depicted as being...
Babylon and the Tower of Babel are not the same thing. I'm pretty sure even in the Bible, the Tower of Babel is not in Babylon, is it? Hang on, before I say that, let me look it up. Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel is a biblical narrative explaining origin of different languages. Yeah, we know that. But, built in the land of Shinar, Mesopotamia, often associated with the ancient city of Babylon and the ziggurats. Okay, but still, it like, doesn't necessarily mean it was in Babylon. It was a made-up fucking place.
Afterwards, and then was struck down by lightning. I wonder if that's supposed to be Babylon? And Babylon...
No, Cleopatra is Macedonian. That's why the whole country got mad at that, that shit-ass fucking... That whole Cleopatra documentary was also conspiratards. That's another big conspiracy. It's these people that want to think, like, every important person was secretly black in history. It's weird.
Or at least the Tower of Babel is always depicted as being Greco-Roman. Maybe the Greeks were actually just...
You mean people drawing Bible fan art make it look like Greco-Roman stuff? What does that mean? This isn't a historical record of the Tower of Babel, fucking Greg, because it wasn't a real thing. Do you actually believe humans all spoke the same language until we tried to build a tower to heaven? And then, like, Chinese and... and fucking Somalian and everything else was invented?
Is always depicted as being Greco-Roman. Maybe the Greeks were actually just using old Babylonian technology. Anyways, I know this was a weird video. I didn't really, like, debunk...
Wow, Greeks might have learned from Babylon. You don't fucking say...
anything. I like to be as skeptical of this stuff as possible, but really I need to...
You have not been skeptical this entire fucking time! You don't even show your goddamn sources, and when I look up anything you cite, it isn't what you say it is! You haven't been skeptic! You haven't been a skeptic this entire time, Armored Skeptic! So, maybe take that part off your name, just call yourself Armored, I guess.
Set this
Armored Nut with a K, there you go.
For you, otherwise the whole rest of the series won't make any sense. Part 2 is going to be...
It already doesn't make any sense, Greg, but I think we're gonna turn you into a series on our Friday stream. It's, yep. Yep, he's going on the Friday barbecue now.
David, though, that's probably going to be my favorite video in the series. I'm going to be going into Nikola Tesla, his Tesla Tower technology, what he was trying to do with that. And not that I want to say I'm smarter than Tesla or anything, but I figured...
You're definitely not. You're not smarter than most of the population of the planet, I would say.
Figured out what he was doing wrong. The technology that Tesla was using to draw atmospheric energy out of the sky, which is a real thing. I'm going to be going into all the science of that. I'm going to demonstrate how Tesla's design was kind of backwards. He had this idea of providing...
Are you an electrical engineer, Greg?
...free energy to the entire planet. But the main thing that we need to see is if Tesla's concept of free energy could work within the domed buildings. Yeah, you could fit...
Just because Tesla is popular in pop culture doesn't mean he was like some miracle worker in real life, my guy.
Tesla Tower inside of one of these domed buildings, but is that like something that they actually did? Was this free energy a real thing? If there's one thing...
No, free energy is not real. It'll never be real.
...that I might accidentally convince you of in this series, it'll be the free energy thing. Because even...
You will not convince me of that because free energy is completely impossible. You know, it is impossible in physical reality. If we find a way to tap into something not physical, maybe, but in our physical universe, no, free energy is not possible.
I'm, like, almost convinced, like, this close to being convinced that our ancestors had free energy, and we can't see it. Why can't?
Why would you be convinced of that? They lived much shorter, much more brutal lives than us.
Because I'm a genius. I'm gonna wake you idiots up too. Everyone will see what I see. I'm really looking forward...
Please never do that again. Get your mouth away from your microphone, sir.
Seeing how you guys react to this series. I hope you have fun with each other, debating in the comments section. Remember, guys...
No, we're having fun! We're having fun, man! I've gone from, I don't think he's as crazy as you guys say he is, to, okay, I guess he's just gonna become a regular subject on my streams now.
Just for fun. And next time, I'm gonna teach you guys how to build a free energy device better than Tesla.
Well, if you knew how to do that, you would have patented it already and become a billionaire, so I doubt that you did. Alright, guys, so, you were right, chat. It is far worse than I ever even imagined. Wow.
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. Personally, I think Florida is a myth created by Big Iowa to keep us distracted from their plans to control the world.
Well, you see, in Steven Universe, Florida's an island.
Super chat. Okay, this isn't important, but I finished Veilguard by shaming Solus into the Veil with Morrigan and the Inquisitor and only lost Harding frowned, so yay.
Yay!
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. I know a wise old man who drank bleach to cure COVID. Somehow he's not dead and is as smart as he sounds. At Devicolif sent a super chat. Okay, if Rome didn't, how does all of Virgil's writings make any sense, or any of Egri's mathematical theories?
Right.
At Mr. DeBossBaby6969 send a super chat. Armored Nut is the name of my Armored Saint band.
There you go. There you go.
At SoreHeart520 sent a super chat. Even back then people wanted the world to be more fantastic than it actually is. There was fanfiction even back then.
Yep, yeah. I mean, it's like how people used to imagine there was like some Greek-like society on Mars before we knew more about it, you know? People make shit up. And like, this stuff might have been fiction in its own time, and you're just looking at it now 1,000 years later and saying, oh my god, there's a mysterious island that's missing now. And it's like, it could have just been made up even back then, you know? Why don't you actually research this shit? Instead of talking out of your ass! But okay, you guys convinced me. We will do more Armored Skeptic in the future, because holy fucking shit. Holy fuck, I did not know it was this bad. He needs to take Skeptic out of his name immediately. He is as bad as Jordan River now. He's as bad as the Young Earth creationists he used to make fun of. I'm stunned. I'm so stunned. But there is so much fucking gold here, it looks like. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm a layman, but I have a few people in my chat who are experts on certain things. And I suppose I could look up some of this stuff, but the point of his videos is to convince us of these ideas. So I should just let him try to convince me. But again, just taking 5 seconds to look up the shit he cites, I can already see it's horse shit. Like, he didn't even put any effort into this. And again, this isn't even like... I want to ask, was he always this bad? But I don't think he was. This is like the first one where, yeah, he got worse. It's not like Cart Narcs or Extra Credits or fucking Honest Trailers where we looked back and said, oh shit, no, they were always bad. He actually was, you know, like, yeah, it was 2016 Snarkmeister. But for the time, you can see how he got popular. He was of the time, for sure. And I don't know what the fuck happened to him. Jesus. Other people say he thinks he's Jesus as well. And again, 5 things everyone gets wrong about Jesus. Is he Christian now? What happened? What happened? Let's see, I'm trying to see if he has anything else that we could, like, read or something, but no, I guess not. Exploring history, religion, philosophy, and art from all cultures. Oh, yeah, sure, buddy. Except your views are very Eurocentric. Okay, so it's like 9 p.m. here. That was a good 3-hour stream. We also watched the astronauts come back to Earth in the middle of it. That was cool. So yeah, all right. We'll have Armored Skeptic be a regular character. I am gonna go back to Jordan next Friday. Wednesday might be just a normal art stream, and Monday I'm gonna do episode discussion stream on The Boys. I forgot about the goddamn premiere, so there's 2 episodes out. But the next episode isn't until the 15th, so I haven't missed much.
Sent a super chat. No, he can't sell the free energy or else he will be hit by paradox. Then the technocracy will take him out for being a reality deviant. He's obviously a mage of the Sons of Ether.
That's probably a reference to something, I have no idea, but that was pretty funny. But yeah, so Monday I will probably do an episode discussion stream on the premiere of The Boys, and then I'll be doing episode discussion streams on it Thursdays after that.
Heart520 sent a super chat. I've only seen his media video when he dated Shu.
Yeah, I used to watch him before he dated Shu, and I fell off of him when he was dating Shu, because again, he was doing manosphere shit, and she was doing tradwife shit, and it was really embarrassing. So anyway, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for joining me, thank you for all the super chats. No, I haven't played the No Man's Sky update yet, Mad Lad. I'm not that interested in it, to be honest. I kind of want more of an animal zoo than Pokemon in my No Man's Sky, but I mean, that's the nice thing about No Man's Sky. You don't have to do all the activities, you know? Some people like other activities more than others. I really like the waist hauling update. I still take my Colossus around for nanites now. That's fun. Anyway, I got off topic. I'm leaving now. So I'll see you guys Monday. Goodbye.